Hello everybody, welcome to Encounter Roleplay. My name is Will, I'm a D&D sex icon, and I forgot to open the fantasy grounds. I'm here today for yet another episode of Game of Thrones War of the Roses, and we're going to get into it today. A couple of us are away, still Rain, and Dreamwisp Jen will be back with us shortly, but it's up to these remaining three to see if they can survive what is likely to be a very deadly trial by 7. So let's get into it. Let's remind ourselves of who we are and of course who we are going to be playing tonight. So let's start with Joseph. How's it going, my friend?
Oh, it's good. I am stressed out to play this as always, especially now that the fate of the boy has been pushed out and we are trying to decide that by trial by 7. So yeah, I'm probably going to be going through the crits that I have tonight fairly quickly, trying to be the man that the McNair house expects me to be. So yeah.
We'll have to wait and see, I guess. Great stuff. And of course we have Bird versus Plane back with us tonight. Bird, how's it going, my man?
Hey man, it's going fantastic. I am perusing the PDF right now, trying to figure out if there's any non-combat way I can help this, and you know what? I'm kind of coming up short. So we're going to see how this goes for everybody. I'm going to be playing Septon Birch, aka Halleck Bull, a man posing as a holy man of the seven-sided god. Oh.
Amazing stuff. Fantastic. And of course we have Kitty back with us tonight. Kitty, how's it going?
It's going wonderful. It's been a pretty awesome week. I'm glad to be back. Okay, I missed everybody. I wish we were all together, but I'm glad at least we could get a couple of us together tonight because I've been waiting for this story to happen for too long. So I'm super excited to see how everything goes.
Absolutely. As for myself, I'll be the games master for tonight, and we'll have to see how this goes. It's going to be an interesting one. Before we get into tonight's game, I'll remind you guys of a couple of things. The first of which is that we're sponsored here today by fancygrounds.com, which I've loaded up right now. You guys can check it out for free. The demo license is there on fancygrounds.com, and you can check out our other licenses as well to play a variety of tabletop games at home. Wellinggames.co.uk is the go-to destination for tabletop board games with minis and more, up to 20% off the retail value. And then, of course, tabletoploot.com is a place to go to get all of your dice needs. At the game, we'll give away a set of dice, so definitely wait here and check it out. Of course, here is the tweets for you guys today. When we hit 20 retweets, you guys in chat get to decide something which happens next in our game. You guys last week decided upon a knight to help assist the party in their endeavors, and so that worked out pretty well in their favor. But we'll have to wait and see what else you guys have in store for them next, this week, of course, in the next viewer decision. And of course, you can donate to affect the game as well by giving players nat 1s, nat 20s, wild magic surges, and worse. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But I will quickly remind you guys of what happened last time on the show, as the party are now involved in something that's gone a little bit beyond them. They're at a tournament at Blackwood Hall, their family rivals, which has gone a little bit pear-shaped because the boy, Squire Roynard, has been accused of being a poacher by House Blackwood and, of course, House Bolton, who are in attendance. Lord Bolton is in attendance. They struck a deal, however, that Cicero would joust against Michael Blackwood for the boy's life. However, despite having unhorsed his opponent, Michael Blackwood, Michael came at him with a sword, and it was determined that the next dawn there would be a trial by 7 to decide the fate of Squire Roynard. Now, they had to go about finding themselves some knights to accompany them in this endeavor, but luckily enough for them, Arvin Oakart, Hector Oakart, and Raymond Glover have stepped up to assist them along with the party, and I believe Squire Roynard, who is intending to be part of this tournament as well. On the other side, there are 7 of Michael Blackwood's knights who are going to face off against him tomorrow in a no rules, wait until one of them dies competition to see whether or not the gods, the 7, will deem Squire Roynard guilty, or if they will deem him free to go and everything will be fine after this. So that's where we are right now. I think we ended things off last night with the team sitting down for the night and getting prepared for the morrow's combat. So I guess that's where we'll pick things up again today, with Cicero, Kaylee, and Septon Birch, who are out their tent, basically sort of getting ready to go down. But I want to give this scene to you guys in case there's anything that you would like to discuss before morning comes. And in fact, I think Septon Birch maybe left at the end of the last session.
Yeah, he left a special little note explaining who the 7 were going to be for his mysterious man who was requiring him to provide information. So, yeah. Sorry,
Very
guys.
Cool. Well, all right, we'll pick up there then. So we'll say that Septon Birch has returned. Cicero, Kaylee, you guys are here. What would you guys like to do the night before what may be your last night?
So we were just bedding down, right? Like,
I think getting
early?
ready to sort of go down. Yeah, so it's late in the evening at this point, probably like 10 or 11 p.m. It's been a long day.
Okay. So I think Kayla would probably kind of start to bed down, but I think she's probably gonna also maybe go over and talk to Cicero a little bit with everything. Cicero, do you think it would be bad if we went for a walk and talked about some things away from everybody?
No, I think that'd be fine. It's probably best that we put our minds on other things, at least for a little bit.
Yes, it would be quite good to get some air, I think, get away from all this, all the negativity floating around, So.
Cicero stands up and is sure to strap his sword to his side. Kind of goes and holds the flap of the tent open for Kaylee to walk out.
So Kaylee would probably also have on her person a sword, but not just an overly cumbersome amount of things with her. And she would step out through the tent and probably look around and see if there's anything noticeable or hear anything noticeable that is going on, and probably would go in the opposite direction.
It's a pretty quiet night in the town, so you guys have a little bit of space to get mauled by cats. Managed to sidestep artfully. But yeah, it looks like a pretty quiet night, and you guys can head off in a direction that you won't run into too many people this late.
Right, so as they kind of start to match pace, walking. So are you sure you're all right with everything happening the way it is here? How are you feeling?
As far as what's been decided by those in power, I can't say I'm alright with that at all. I'm very aware of who we can and can't trust. And I fear that Lord Bolton is one that we're going to have to keep a particular eye on.
That man
He's probably
scares
the
me.
greatest threat. Aye, everything in his house and what they stand for makes my blood curdle. But we have to do the best we can. We have to survive. You understand it's the only plan that either of us should have for tomorrow, especially you. Let's get out alive.
I don't think I have as many people counting on me to live as you do, but I agree that we both need to focus on living. I like to think that I have a lot more left to do in life.
Aye. Everyone does. I'd hate to see anyone's life. But, you have to promise me that you'll just take care of yourself on the battlefield. Don't try and do anything brave or stupid.
Me, stupid. She kind of laughs and pushes at him. When have I ever done anything stupid? Brave, always, but not stupid.
Cicero smiles a bit. Times like this, sometimes they can be the same thing. I trust you. I know you do, it's right.
So we know that neither of us want to die, but can I ask you a favor, Cicero?
What would you like, Kaylee?
And Kaylee's gonna stop walking and like turn to look at him like very seriously. If something does happen to me, things start to go badly, you make sure that my father's taken care of. He doesn't have anybody else but me.
Cicero steps forward and it is, again, trying to match her tone, being very serious. Nothing's going to happen to you. I promise.
Wishes and promises don't always become true, you know. And I just want to make sure, you know, I don't... What does it matter? I'll be fine anyway. Come on. And she kind of shrugs it off and moves on.
Your family will always be taken care of in the McNair house. You know that.
If things go badly here, how long will the house stand? You thought about that, the way things have been going.
Cicero takes a very deep breath and a long sigh. It's a concern we all have. I know my father has it too. But we will hold our home to the very end.
Indeed, we will hold our home, yes. Yes, I don't know, it just all seems so wrong, you know, that they can just sort of take us and abuse us so, and no one could do anything. Is there no... She kind of looks around, like, nervously, like, in a sense of, like, looking to see if anybody would be watching. Is there no one above, you know, that could ever do anything? I'm sure you and your family have done all you can, but your father always was a bit of a pushover. No.
I hope things are different. At least in the future. He puts his right hand on her shoulder. Whatever future there is, it's going to be one that we all find together. I don't know what others are going to do. The best I can do is protect people I love. And his left hand starts to drift up to her shoulder, and he abruptly stops and slowly puts it back down under his cape.
Kaylee nods and lets out like a breath. No, I agree, yes. We have to protect the ones we love. Everything that we love. Even when they're not always being the smartest. Like, perhaps we should maybe go back to the tent.
Aye, we're
Unless
not going to be doing much protecting on too little sleep.
Unless you'd like to go and pray. Or tomorrow.
Cicero's expression darkens a bit as the praying brings his mind back to Septon Birch. Aye. To the gods we trust. We should pray.
I'm not really familiar with it here, though, where we should go. Perhaps you could lead the way.
Cicero looks around for any kind of religious establishment.
Just outside of Blackwood Hall itself, there is a small godswood, which is where you would go to pray.
Cicero kind of takes his hand off her shoulder and starts to lead the way there.
Do you think the gods are very much bothered with our happenings down here?
I can't say. Some part of me would like to believe that the gods are just. The world we live in, sometimes it makes me think otherwise. Doesn't mean there isn't beauty in it. Doesn't mean it's not worth fighting for, but I do believe that sometimes the gods need to be convinced of whose side they need to be on.
I like to think like that as well. Like, we're not just puppets, but we have some sort of pull in our fate.
I think to think otherwise is to accept defeat.
You're always worse but stubborn, so I don't think there's any way that you would ever accept otherwise.
No, I learned that from my father. Said it was the quality of a good king to know what you stand for and never back down from it.
So as they start to I guess leave out of the city gates and approach, I think Kaylee would stop and probably look around and see if there's any particular guards or anything that we should be on guard with, because we are testing times.
This far out, as you guys are going towards the Godswoods, there are no guards. It's sort of like a religious ground, so, not a place that you would need to guard. So you're pretty much out here on your own.
All right. There it is.
Doesn't seem to be too many religious types out at this hour. I wonder where the Septon's gone. Kind of looks around very nervously. And it's not just because he's wondering where the Septon is.
Tell me what's on your mind. If there's any place to be honest, it's here.
The responsibility I have as a lord. It's always prevented me from doing what I want. I used to sneak out of the hole some nights and just roam about. You remember that's how we met?
It was how we met, yes. I surely thought you were going to report me to the guards.
I always thought it was important to have a new perspective on the lands that I hold. To see them as everyone else did, not just as my family did.
Haley's gonna kneel down, sort of sit on her knees with her hands in her lap, and sort of look up, probably more relaxed here than she has been in a lot of places. So I think since tomorrow might not be the brightest day in these lands, I need to tell you, Cicero, in case, well, in a different world, you know, in a place where we would have been different people, I think we could have had a and she sort of like stammers nervously. I think our lives could have been much different, don't you?
I do think they could be different, but I don't know if we need a whole new world for that. He kind of kneels down beside her and brings his left hand back out from under his cape and once again goes to put it on her shoulder, and this time it touches, and through the glove you can feel that his hand is ice cold.
Turns and looks up at him. Are you all right? Your hands are freezing.
As you say this, he quickly pulls it away again. Yes, it's alright. It's just the weather gets to me. Sometimes God, I don't know why it has to be so bloody cold up here all the time.
You know, I think you get used to it by now, but I suppose being up there in your hole, it's a bit warmer.
Yes, and we should pray.
Yes, pray.
Cicero very quickly bows his head. You get the distinct impression that he's never really been intimate with anyone before. Not even like on an emotional level.
So I would assume they'd probably linger there for a moment, just like in the quiet, in the cold, both sort of gathering their thoughts. And then Kaylee will be the first, I would think, to stand up. Cicero. And she goes to like turn, not facing him. You know, I've always loved you, not just as a brother. And she's gonna start walking towards the gate.
Cicero like very quickly gets up and follows. I mean, I felt the same. And he kind of goes to put his right hand in hers.
So when he
It's
does
fairly
this, like, she's gonna stop briefly, unsure of what to do, and then probably like continue on walking. So, not another world then. Just maybe a changed one.
One that we can change, yes. Like I said, just don't do anything too brave tomorrow.
The same goes for you. Neither of us be so brave to be stupid, but not be afraid.
And I'm sure you'll forgive me for this act of bravery. And he leans in to kiss her.
So she's like particularly shocked by this. She's also just like a very aloof child. Not a child, she's she's an aloof girl. Doesn't give much response back other than like sort of turning down and blushing and continuing like to try and walk on. Not in like a oh gross, but like in a
Yeah, Cicero is kind of crestfallen, but kind of there's a hint of a smile as he follows to walk behind her again.
As you guys step away, you're disturbed to hear a loud roar coming from behind you, that of a bear. Disturbing the peaceful night in the godswood. You turn and you see its shaggy head bearing down at you, large eyes glaring out in the darkness in a hatred and a sense that you are its prey. It roars once again at you, not sure where it came from, but you see two figures in the darkness moving away, humanoid figures in the woods, and this bear is leveled towards you. What do you do?
Cicero immediately draws his sword and puts his arm out. Just says, "Kaylee, run."
I'm not going to leave you. She goes to pull her sword out. We're in this together, Cicero.
He gives her a look back over his shoulder, and there's a very forced smile as he begins to essentially just back up and push her back.
All right, let's roll initiative, which is your agility plus any quickness bonuses that you have. Oops, I just had to say that.
Trying to get Fantasy Grounds to load. It's been not working for me.
Yeah, it should be back up now. I had something wrong on my end that I'd forgotten to change.
There we go.
So this is where I'm really bad at. So anything that I have to do, I'm going to need slight hand-holding. I feel like you know this though, Will.
It's all
so
good.
It's okay.
Yeah, no worries. So, so you roll your agility. Whatever your agility score is, if it's like 2 or 3, you roll a d6 for every one that you have in that ability. So this bear has 3. But it retracts the lowest one because one of its bonuses is in quickness, so it has an 8 for the bear. Just lost music for a moment. There we go.
Loading.
There you go.
We're almost there.
It's all good.
So 3 of those?
Perfect. So we had those together, so that's 9, 12. Life is hard. Kaylee, what do we got for Cicero here?
There we go. That is an 8. Oh, wait,
Nice.
hang on. Wait, this is an agility.
An agility score, yeah.
Okay, so then I do one more.
Oh, sweet. Perfect. So we have Kaylee on a 12, Cicero on a 10, and a bear on an 8. The two figures that you saw in the darkness, maybe 40 feet away, run away and slip behind trees, leaving just the bear. You can see marks on it where it looks like it's been like hit before, probably whipped. It has like a big kind of collar around it as well. You've seen bears like this that have been sort of captured and used for sorts of entertainment. This looks like one of those. And Kaylee, it is your turn to go. At this point, you're about 30 feet away from the bear.
All right. Cicero, can we fight this? She's gonna try to like sidestep because he was pushing her back. She's gonna try to sidestep around to the side of him. And I would think probably, so she'd be like ready herself for an attack, and have in like a defense.
Okay. Take a defensive posture. Kaylee prepares to meet the charge of the bear. Cicero, it's your turn. What would you like to do?
Cicero looked down at his sword, knowing full well that if he could just snap this thing off in the bear if he wasn't careful. And he just braces himself and is again trying to inch back as much as he can, pulling Kaylee with him. Yeah.
All right. You're staying in front?
Yes.
Amazing. As you step back, the bear sort of levels its head down towards you, almost in a similar way to, when you see like a boar sort of like trampling his foot, getting to rev up. The bear comes barreling towards you and is going to charge into you, Cicero. So what you're looking for now is your combat defense, and the bear is going to try and roll to beat your combat defense, which is basically your AC. We take away the lowest, so he got 14 on his attack roll.
I believe that is just enough.
Okay, so what is your combat defense?
I think it's 13. Yeah.
Okay, wow, okay, perfect. At this point, we'll assume that you're in your standard armor rather than your plate mail tournament armor. So whatever like leather or jerkin that you're wearing at the moment is that. So its bite does 5 damage to you. So you reduce any armor that you have from that number. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to go find your character sheet so I can help you look at this stuff. Oh. Cicero, boom. His armor is... Well, let's see what armor he would be wearing. It's probably like a leather jerkin, right?
Yeah.
I'll go find this for you, because I remember us having to find this last time. So you have 2 points of armor. So you take 3 wounds.
Okay.
Actually, you have 3 points of armor. My mistake. Leather hard is armor rating 3. So you take 2 wounds.
Okay.
The bear charges in, raking Cicero across the body with its claws, opening up some of the wounds that are already on his person. We swing things back around to Kaylee, your turn.
All right. So I sit barreled into him. In her shock, she is, I guess, gonna try and like charge onto to try and hit it I guess from the side. Probably going for the neck.
All right, so you can roll your fighting, and if you are using like a blade and you have a bonus in long blades, then you get that bonus as well.
Yeah.
Okay, checking your sheet. Yeah, you got short blades, 1 bonus, so you roll 4 dice in total, and you subtract the lowest dice roll from your total.
Okay.
Ooh, very nice. So you just take away the lowest, which is 14 in total, which is enough to beat the combat defense of the bear, which only has a combat defense of 9. So I think a short blade does something like 3 points of damage with any bonuses in strength. We'll go take a look here. I always think to myself, in between games, I'll have these page references ready. I just never do.
Who needs them?
Who needs them? Me. Let's see. Small sword. What kind of sword are you wielding, Kaylee? I forgot what I put on your character.
I don't remember.
A small sword, yes indeed. So there's 3 points of damage, which is subtracted away from the bear's natural armor. It only has 1 point of natural armor, so you deal 2 wounds to it. You open up this red gaping wound on the side of the bear, and it howls out in pain at you. All right, that throws things over to our good friend Cicero.
Yeah, so I like to imagine what he's essentially done is shifted his left arm, so that's what the bear has bitten. And as he's trying to push back against it, he takes his sword and tries to jab it up on the underside of the bear while he's being attacked by it.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, we're gonna go It's just a fighting check?
It is a fighting, so a standard attack, yeah.
Okay. There's 4 of those for 14.
14 is, again, more than enough to beat the bear's combat defense. And so you are wielding a... Let's go and see. Got a longsword on you or something like that?
It would have been the sword that Kaylee's father made for me.
Then yeah, definitely a longsword, which is Castle Forge. So it does damage equal to your athletics plus 2. And your athletic score is 3, so it does a total of 5 points of damage to the bear. So you, again, bypassing its natural armor, have dealt 4 points of damage to it, in addition to what Kaylee's done. Described to be a near-death blow to this bear. It's still standing, but it isn't down yet.
Oh, so... Sure, if Cicero is just kind of jabbed this sword into it, he would twist and try to pull back out just to try and draw as much blood out of it as he can. And if he's at all released from it, he's going to step back to try and regain himself before the next attack.
Yeah, you take a moment to regain your composure in the action here. All right, that's the bear's turn, which takes us back to Kaylee. Sorry, no, that was Cicero's turn, right? Which takes us back to the bear, rather. So the bear is going to launch an assault at Kaylee. And you're looking at your combat defense here. He's trying to beat 13. And look at Kaylee. Your combat defense is 11, so he beats you, which means that he's landed a hit. And he deals 5 points of damage, minus your hard leather armor, which is rating of 3. So you take 2 wounds, taking you down to 7 health, as it reacts to the sharp jab that it's received by its neck by batting you away. You put up your arm, and the claws dig through the hard leather armor that you're wearing into flesh until ringlets of blood start dripping through the armor. Kaylee, what do you do in response?
So as she comes up and gets hit, she's gonna probably like stumble back and go to like catch herself and pull herself up to her feet. And as she's sort of, I'm gonna imagine like as she's pulling herself back up, she's gonna come back in for like another swing, but like with like a really like a good force of her body coming up to go and try again and hit him in his throat to really like. I mean, she's not gonna decapitate the bear, but to like cut like a jugular and like really really hit deep. She's gonna like try like as she's coming back up, swing up at him again, probably trying to just, in the rage of it all, ignore her pain. So then
alrighty, you're rolling up fighting, and we'll see how that goes. The bear is looking very wounded. Ooh, nice rolls.
Yeah.
Alright, so we subtract the lowest. So I believe it's a 15, which is definitely a hit against the bear. Sorry, I completely blanked out. We don't roll for damage in this game, so I was like, oh, and then you roll for damage, but no, you don't. You just held the standard damage. Luckily for you, the bear is on 1 health remaining, which means that you kill the bear. Kaylee, how does this old, slightly mangy, diseased, previously captive bear, how do you kill it?
I mean, if she's coming like up this to like really hit its throat, she could partially cut off part of the head.
Yeah,
I would assume.
I think so.
Like get a really
like
wide hanging.
The lower head, yeah, the sort of, yeah. So you just tear open like it's a knife through butter. This bear's neck, and blood and entrails just start to pour out of this bear's neck as it dies on the ground where it stands at your feet. Looking at the beast now, it is clearly very old, most likely. Probably disease-ridden. It stinks. It's got cuts all over its body from a lifetime of abuse. And most likely is the kind of bear that you would find in like a carnival outfit. There are plenty of them here in the town for the tournament.
Right. So I imagine Kaylee covered in blood after this last strike. Something out of carry. Is gonna like she's not even gonna like really think about the bear. She's gonna go straight to Cicero and try to like look him over in like a motherly panic, almost like a Cicero, are you okay? Without looking at our own wounds.
Yeah, in the same way that Kaylee is obsessing over Cicero, Cicero is very much ignoring his own pain to try and see what state Kaylee is in. He's probably bleeding from his left arm, and his hand is twisted at a severe angle, most likely. And he quickly looks around to see if there's any immediate threat in the area, and also kind of trying to spot the two figures that they saw.
Whoever they were, they're long gone. Although you can still just about make out a sort of cackling laugh in the distance as the two of them have run off. Coming in the opposite direction from behind you, you hear the sound of two mailed boots running towards you from the darkness.
Kaylee's not even really going to be paying too much attention to that. She's still sort of like in a shocked state. I don't think she's ever been in an actual like real full-on combat scenario. Right. It's always been through training and stuff, and thinks she knows she's hot shit. So she's still like in a bit of a shock, and she's going to continue like to like look over Cicero and not using the arm that was struck by the bear. But I guess as the boots get closer, she'll probably stop and look.
Coming from the darkness, you and Cicero can both see two familiar forms coming from the darkness. They're both two red-headed men, and you recognize them as the Oak Hearts, the Black Knights, whom have recently sworn allegiance to you. The two of them, Arvin and Hector, run off. Hector's the silent one. Arvin is the only one that seems to have really spoken to you so far. He comes along. Both of them have like unlimbered their axes and their morning stars, clearly prepared for battle. They're out of breath. Arvin says, "Cicero, you okay?"
Yes. And Cicero quickly sheaths his sword and puts his hand under his cape. We're fine, just a little bloodied.
He looks at the creature on the floor. It looks like they sent one of these mangy animals after you. Did you see who did it?
Two men, but we don't know.
See where they went?
Went off that way. He nods his head towards where they ran off to.
He nods, and wordlessly the two of them pick up the pursuit and run off into the darkness.
Cicero, we need to get you bandaged. We need to get back to the tent. And maybe Septum's there.
I hope he is, but I think we need to prepare a gift for the Blackwoods and the Boltons. And he kind of walks over to where the bear is and finishes sawing through its neck with his sword, and picks it up with his one hand and looks at Kaylee with just a steely determination in his eyes, and turns and walks back to the tent.
And she quickly follows, regaining a bit of her composure.
On the way back, then you'll see Septum Birch, who's probably just coming back from his late night visit. And you see that Cicero is once again like clutching an arm, and Kaylee as well is bleeding from a wound on her forearm, which has clearly torn through a lot of the armor there.
Good evening. My God, what have you been up to? What's happened? Were you attacked again? What's going on?
Cicero just kind of throws the bear head into his arms. Whether he catches it or not is
drops it right away.
Not of any concern.
Right, it's bleeding all over you.
This answers none of my questions. It only gives me more.
And without answering any of his questions, surely enough, Cicero immediately starts in saying, "Give me some of your cleaning supplies and things to bandage your wound."
And he, reaches into the maester's kit and gets everything else that he thinks they need, stuff to clean them up, stuff to bandage, everything.
Yeah. Cicero nods to Kaylee. You attend to her and you make sure that she is fixed up and well. leave me be for a few minutes. He walks into the tent with the supplies that the Septon's given him.
Haley like goes to step back towards like into to where he's gone, but remains standing. It was a bear. I don't know where it came from. It just sort of out of the darkness. It was all bloody and beaten.
He's rushed over to her.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say she just probably like pulls up her arm and like reveals the mangled flesh.
He's examining it, kind of looking like kind of panicking a little bit and hearing you, but then you say the word bear and it's just like, that attacked you? Pointing at the head on the ground.
What, do you think we just carried around the head of a bear for a laugh?
Where did a bear come from in the midst of a tournament?
I told you, it just came out of the darkness. I don't know where it came from. There were these two men, they were laughing, and there was a collar. Oh, there was a collar, I think, on the bear. We didn't even... Listen, this isn't nothing. You need to look at Cicero. His hand was twisted and gnarled, and
settle down.
Much more.
I'll get to Cicero in time. Let's take a look at your wounds, and he'll begin, assessing them, dressing them, everything he can. And just kind of breathing a little bit heavy before he looks up back at her at some point, makes eye contact, and so you killed a bear then?
I guess I did kill a bear. Chopped its head off. Kind of like not really making contact with him, but still sort of in like a daze.
And how did it feel? Did it come naturally to you? Did it feel like training with Cicero? Did it feel more? Tell me, what was it like?
It was very wet.
I'll be right back.
Out of character, no comments.
That's it. He's just let us loose. He's oh my god.
So yes,
it was very wet. And she goes to wipe some of the blood. She's drenched in blood. Like I would imagine as she came up and sliced its neck, like it would have just horror movies sprayed out.
And yeah, it's just very slow. Like as soon as that wound is dressed, he will, find like a bucket of water and a rag and everything, come over to you and just be wiping the blood off of you if you're still just kind of zoned out and thinking about this bear. And then again, kind of just speaking softly, just. So, can you do that tomorrow? Against a person?
And so she sort of looks and goes to shake her head and to clear her mind of it. Of course I can do it, especially when lives depend on it. And of course, yes. And she looks at him and finally makes eye contact with a very stern nod of yes, I can do it tomorrow.
And just a big smirk on his face as he sees the resolution in your eyes. Good. And we'll finish dressing your wounds and taking care of you. And as soon as that's done and I think you're in a good place, I'm gonna go also check on Cicero, because you stole a bunch of my supplies, you're covered in blood, and I think your hand's messed up. Feel like that might be important we take care of that stuff. Unless you keep me out of the tent or say something about not coming in.
How about how long has it taken you to fix up?
I'd say it would probably, if she was attacked by a bear, it'd probably take a decent chunk of time. It took 4 hours to heal you earlier, so I'm guessing you have a good chunk of time in there by yourself.
Yeah, by the time you walk back in, Cicero seems to have bandaged himself up and put his become decent again, and he kind of just has his arm resting. He's kind of knotted his cape up into a makeshift sling, and he just seems to have his arm resting in that, but it doesn't look to be broken. The hand seems to be at the correct angle. Nothing looks wrong with it, and then he's just working on pouring himself some wine at this point.
Okay. As you sort of settle in with your wounds, going to the realization that not everything's broken and you're immediately going to die or bleed out, it's not long before Arvin and Hector the Black Knights return. Between the two of them, they are carrying a man who looks to be unconscious. Each of them have like an arm, and he like sort of dragging him along. There's no sign of the second man, and they have blood on their axes. They dump him inside the tent in the dead of night.
Cicero stands and walks over to them. Did you find anything out about them?
Oh, one of them had a trip. Really bad fall, actually broke his neck. Then his neck came off. This one's fine, though. He just fell and didn't die, so he was a lucky one. Well, I wouldn't call him a lucky one, but you know.
Oh, very sad his friend couldn't join us. And Cicero just kind of takes his boot and kicks the body over so he can get a look at the face.
He's breathing, but clearly unconscious. He has a welt on his face that looks like he's probably been hit by the butt of the axe shaft, rather. He looks like a northerner. He's got a big, dark, black beard, and he looks to be in his 40s or so. He's got only a few teeth, though. He's not wearing any house insignia or any colors, and it looks to be purposeful.
Kaylee stands up and walks over to the little group as well. He's not wearing any colors, is he? Tired, I'm assuming.
Nope. What do you want me to do with it, my lord? Oh! Arvin and Hector start to look a little bit nervous at that. I don't know. That's a good idea.
We've
I
learned
mean,
the Blackwood's idea of justice. I don't believe it's the correct course of action to.
he fell into a very shallow grave. This alert is huge, apparently. Staffan, Strom, thank you for the Patreon sub, man. They blew up since last week. He fell into a very shallow grave that was only very recently. It looked like it only recently been dug. Such a coincidence.
Cicero gives a little smirk, and as he just kind of examines the fellow on the ground again, he says, "Well, I guess we'll have 2 presents tomorrow." He looks at the septon. "Did you drop that bear head I gave you?"
Yes, I
Damn it, Kevy!
Sorry.
It's so big! It's so big! Apologies, my lord. I'll retrieve it. And Birch will just turn on his heel and go out the door to go get the damn bear head. Come back in with it a few moments later.
Yeah, and Cicero is in the process of thanking the 2 Black Knights, clasping their arms and thanking them for their service.
Anytime, my lord. Anytime. Do you want me to stay around, ask him a few questions for you? Break off a few toes and fingernails, that kind of thing. You got this sorted? Not that I've ever done that before.
We'll leave that to the Boltons if they truly believe in justice. If not, then I think he should meet the same fate as his friend.
Well, I think you're more like to get information out of him rather than from the Boltons, but I'll leave you to it. I'll see you on the morrow.
Oh, you will. Thank you again.
The 2 of them bow respectfully and leave.
His arm's bound. Kaylee, shoves him over, I guess, to look at him.
Yeah, you can bind his arms very easily if you'd like to. They haven't, they just knocked him out.
So... Septum, have we have any rope? And you'll Oh, we need to tie him up. I didn't want him waking.
Yes, 1 second. And he'll go over and kind of like just hold the bear head in front of Cicero for a second before just kind of shaking his head and putting it on the ground at his feet. And then we'll go to his medical bag and get out some sort of restraints, whether that's just like long pieces of bandage, whatever, just to tie up the wrists of the man behind his back.
Okay. Is there, so in this tent, is there like, I'm trying to imagine like what the tent, is there like a pole in the middle? You know?
Yeah.
Hold it
I got a pole in the center,
Okay.
probably, yeah.
Cicero, come and help me. And she's gonna like start to try and like drag him towards where they could tie him to the pole. Have him sitting up and facing out.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cicero takes the one hand that isn't in the sling and just kind of drags him over and helps best he can to tie him up.
It's pretty easy to do.
Yeah. You got any smelling salt, Septum?
Oh, yes, we can get him awake. Are we sure we want to do that now? Should we put something in his mouth so he doesn't cause an alarm and start to panic?
So Kaylee nods and she goes back to like her pack and drags out like an old pair of like wool socks. This will do. She'd like worn the previous few days like this and hands it to Septum Birch.
I was thinking bandages, but sure, this'll do. And we'll very, very tightly and firmly like make sure that it is like so far in there that he won't be able to get like much of a guttural sound out even. And make sure he cannot just scream for help right away as soon as he wakes up. And then
Absolutely.
prepare some sort of smelling salts to
Remedy to wake him up, yeah.
him back up.
Yeah, absolutely. You waft it under his nose for a moment, and he comes back round in a blur. He's not quite there, at least for the beginning, and then about 20 seconds later or so, his eyes sort of come into focus, and he looks at you. Where am I? Who the fuck are you?
I think you should answer those questions for us.
Well, maybe for him and Kaylee, like with the like snags the bear head and kind of like chunks it at the man.
Ah, shit. Oh, no. Listen, I think there's been a big misunderstanding here. Seems like the bear must have gotten loose and gone wild. Which means I'll have to report that back to the owner. So my unlawful imprisonment here is not necessary. I'll go and clear everything up for you in a jiffy.
Cicero draws his sword and immediately levels it at his throat. And was it
Right,
you?
yeah.
Was it you or your friend who found that so incredibly funny?
That was him. I was not laughing at all. In fact, I was deeply saddened by the tragic events. What happened?
So you didn't
my
consider-
good grace.
Maybe coming and stopping this bear.
Well, once a bear is loose, you know what they say, Missy. They say steer clear of any wild bears. So took it upon myself to. Was it you who hit me in the head with that axe?
Cicero presses his sword a little bit against his neck, just enough to draw a drop of blood. If you don't want your head to be loose from your body, you laugh. You better pray that I don't recognize it. Does it sound
Better?
remotely like the laugh that we heard?
I mean, the question is whether or not Cicero wants it to, I think. I really think Cicero is the decider here. I think I can tell
Cicero, well, yeah, okay. I mean, he is going to try and go based off of whether or not it's it sounds
I'll
kind
tell
of
you
like
this,
if
it
it's slightly
could be his
recognizable.
laugh. But he doesn't have such a
All right.
distinctive laugh like you could for certain say that just before the bear
Gotcha.
attacked you that it was him.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh my
well,
god. Also, his wild magic search from Mr. Pokey is that he finds the sight of male magic users to be enormously funny. I'm going to take this to be Septon Burge, and like religious man. He finds it really funny.
Even the guy tied up in a tent with a sword to his throat doesn't respect Septon Birch.
That's how you get the laugh out of him. He sees Septon Birch, he's like, it's a priest. On the 7. What are you doing here? Sorry. Sword to my throat and all that. Listen, mate, my worship, your lordliness, I am just a simple peasant man. Alright? I'm not the guy that you want. I'm just a man who had a bear. You know, what you want is a massive massive purple dildo in your face. Door score face. I don't know why he wants to so much play, but I love it. Oh, it's my favorite thing. I need it to stay. You want the eye ups, don't you? You want the head of the chains. You don't want me. I'm just a simple man. I got 6 kids to look after. You would deprive 6 kids of a father now, would you, my lord?
If there's one thing that I've learned in all my years, it's not the best way to get to the higher ups. It's to start with the simple men. So, we'll let you live until morning.
That's very gracious, my lord. What will happen then?
I'll decide if I'm gonna kill you.
Okay. What will that be dependent on?
Be depending on whether or not Michael Blackwood recognizes you.
Oh. It's awkward. Listen, you can't do that. You can't do that because, listen, mate, what they'll do to me is 10 times worse than anything you'll do to me.
Good. Perhaps you'd like to explain why, and maybe I'll keep you in my custody.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, innit? I'm one of his. You know, I live here. I'm a Blackwood man, born and raised. So he's going to recognise me, my lord. But for this, what has happened, I can see how it would look like I might have tried to kill you. and to be frank, my lord, they will just have me killed. They won't let me speak, my lord, in the court. They won't let me get that far. You understand? They'll have me killed before I ever get to a stand.
I see. Well, forgive me, then, if my irresponsibility kills you, just as yours killed this here bear.
Listen, mate, I was just following orders. You know what they will do to me and my family if I didn't just follow orders? They'll have all of them strung up. You got to understand, it's not as though it was a choice, my lord. They come for you, and they tells you if you don't do what they says, then you'll end up just like all the others. It's kill or be killed out here.
Tell me whose choice it was.
Listen, if you don't send me to them, then I'll tell you everything you want to know, mate. I'll tell you who it is you need to know, what it is you need to know, what everyone's got planned, but I'm not going to do that if you're just going to farm me out to them.
What's your family name?
I don't have one, my lord. I just just a simple man, simple family. My
Where
name
is
is
your
Matthew. They're not far from here, my lord. They live in a small village not 3 miles away.
Well, Matthew, do what I can to ensure your safety. But the chances of you making out of these walls alive, if you were hired by the Blackwoods, or whoever it was, and you failed them, that I can't promise you.
Well, here's the thing, my lord. They probably think I'm dead. Just like my mate Jerry, he got killed by the other guy, the axe. They probably think I'm dead as well. They don't even know I'm here. As long as they don't know I'm here, then I'm safe, and I'm better off. I'm more used to you alive than I am dead in a ditch. I know people. I know how they operate. I know where things are, what plans and stuff. If I'm dead in the ditch, well, I'd never be able to tell you. But the good thing we've got right now is that they probably don't even know I'm here, so there's no need to tell them.
Well, then you best start talking. If you have anything important to say, you have until dawn to say it.
Okay, well, what is it you'd like to know, my lord?
How did you know that I was going to be out tonight?
We've been following you ever since you got here.
And who exactly hired you? I want to know the person that you spoke to.
Michael Blackwood. We've been following you lot before you even got here. There was another band of you. Your family, that is. Your guards, scouts and the like. I was part of the band that killed him.
Cicero.
10 of them or so. Slaughtered him in the woods a couple of nights before. There was one of them, older guy, a knight. Took down 4 of us before we could manage to take him down, but the order was to keep him alive. He's down in the dungeons.
Cicero sheathes his sword, and you see his arm fly out of its sling and crack this guy across the jaw.
Yeah. He's obviously in no state to resist.
Yeah,
Comes back round. Ah.
Thank you.
Hey,
Oh,
I didn't want to. Yeah, if it means anything, your boys put up a good fight.
I'm afraid the mere fact that they're dead means the world to me.
Well, you know. Shit.
Sorry.
Well, at least your other man's alive, you know, he's alive as well, as far as I know.
That's
I don't know what state he's in.
good. That's good news, and I thank you for bringing it to me. But I'm sorry, Matthew.
Oh,
What you
hold
doing to
on.
Blackwood?
Katie's gonna reach up and put her hand on Cicero's shoulder.
Hold
Cicero,
on here, son.
he might be a bit of use for us. Your man's in the dungeon, and so is the boy.
Even better.
You know how,
I've got keys. I got keys. I can get to the dungeon. I can get in there. They trust me. You see, I'm one of the lot that I'm not officially one of their guards. You see, a lot of the Blackwoods lot, they've got their official guard. You know, the ones you see in uniform and that lot. And then there's us lot. You know, more rougher looking types, don't wear any uniforms and stuff, but that's at least half of their forces. Levies and peasants and the like, former bandits that they've recruited into their force. That's what I am, but I'm kind of respected amongst them, you know, like a captain. Got my own squad. So, you know, I can get you in places. No need to kill me, my lord. My past crimes, perhaps I can repent through my following deeds.
You best hope so. Because the moment that your usefulness runs out, I intend to return you to your masters.
Yeah. Well, no rush on that one. So what else?
Cicero turns to Kaylee and to the Septon.
My lord, if you don't mind, I could perhaps provide a little insurance for us. And Birch will reach into his bag and pull out just a small sealed vial. And I understand it's quite a sight to see a Septon of the Seven this far north.
Sorry.
A lot of jokes. No, it's understandable. It is quite a sight. It's interesting though. A lot of Septons get sent to far distant lands in order to go learn from people and bring back neat and interesting things. For instance, this little thing.
Voice.
He holds up the vial.
It's a funny vial.
It is. Have you heard of a basilisk before?
You got funny words as well. Now what's that?
Yeah, basilisk. You see, I'm sure you're used to snakes and lizards and reptiles and that kind of thing. Imagine that, but oh gosh, the size of a hill. Far off in the jungles of Yaiti. Yes, see, as part of this great sept, we have access to so many interesting and unique medications, and this very thing, a basilisk's venom, it can be used in a great many things when cooked and treated properly, but when ingested just normally, you see, it has quite the effect on a person's body. All those things inside of you, your stomach, kidneys, lungs, they belong inside of you, yes? I know you're not a smart man, but certainly know that much about your own health, correct?
Yeah?
See, this, upon ingestion, will very slowly begin to make those things come out, one way or another, in very less than cleanly manners, if you catch my drift. I'm trying to keep it a little bit nice in front of this nice young woman and a young lord. Are you understanding what I'm saying?
What kind of septon are you?
See, I keep this around. As I said, this does have medical benefits if treated properly, but if not, it can do these things, again, slowly, over the course of several days. Now, I have with me, on the off chance someone would mistakenly ingest it, the cure to this. So, it's all well and good in case someone gets it. They can last perhaps a day, perhaps two, without this terrible, terrible side effect happening. But without the cure, it's quite messy and painful. I just want to be clear here that if any of these conversation gets out, if you do anything to betray the young lord here, well, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be able to help you after this. And if he's tied up, the Septon is going to approach him, open his mouth up, and force this vial down his throat.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Make him swallow it. And if you would like, I would gladly roll a deception check on that whole speech, because this is totally just like a placebo.
Sure,
like,
yeah, roll me a deception check.
Let's see, deception 4, then bluff 3. So I 7d6. There we go. So
Oh, yeah.
4-4-4-4-2-3. So
13.
and then
Yeah.
+3 for my
Yeah.
treachery, I believe.
It's more than enough
Yeah.
to deceive this man who
Okay.
already is terrified for his life. And this gives the Septon a wild magic surge, however. It's a D10K for Bert.
D10K? Alright.
D10K, let's have it.
D10, 4016.
4016.
God.
Okay.
Sorry, Joseph, I just saw that pun. Man.
This is terrible. Oh man. All of the Septon's belongings are transported beyond the horizon.
As I was saying, I have the cure right.
You've been robbed. That's hilarious. You don't know when you misplaced your pack, but somewhere in the past few days it's gone. And there's not a lost and found section at this festival. Septon Birch in a bit of a pickle, but we'll figure that out. So, the man Matthew absolutely believes you when he drinks this. Oh, it tastes like basilisk poison. Shit. All right, I'll tell you whatever it is you want to know. Just don't poison me.
This
God,
is
you're-
just insurance.
So weird how funny you are and yet how scary this is.
Just play nice and everything will be okay. I promise.
I don't know if I want to laugh or shit myself.
Kind of pats his head.
He looks to Cicero. Go on then. What do you want to know, my lord? I'll tell you what I can.
Oh, come to think of it, I am quite tired. I think I might turn in for the night.
When I die from the poison, my lord.
Well, you heard the Septon. Might take a couple of days. I don't expect you to die by morning. Besides, we only need you for tomorrow to get into the dungeons. If it
So
proves then,
we're in the dungeons tomorrow.
if we can, if you prove useful then, Septon here might be so kind as to give you the anti-venom.
All right, my lord. I'll do everything I can.
No, you best get some rest. Got a big day ahead of you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll just rest. That's what I'll do.
Don't worry. We'll give you breakfast in the morning. Let's just hope you can keep it down. Cicero walks over to his bedroll and starts getting ready to go to sleep.
Okay, Kayla, what are you doing? He looks. The man Matthew looks towards you.
Kaylee kind
Let me
of
go.
sneers at him, and when he says that, kicks his leg with the toe of her boot. I think you look plenty comfortable there. I hear it's good for your back to sleep sitting up. And she steps away to unfurl her own bedroll and get some rest.
Septon Birch, you headed to bed as well?
Septon Birch turns, also ready for a night of rest, when he realizes his bedroll is gone. As well as every one of his last earthly possessions. And just frustrated and tired from the day, lays down on the ground. He'll figure it out in the morning, man.
Kaylee tosses him one of her bedding, like a blanket.
Oh, thank you, my dear. Makeshift pillow.
Alrighty. So you guys sleep. The next morning you wake up. Matthew looks like he may have gotten a little bit of sleep in this pretty awkward position, passing out at one point or another. So the rest of you guys wake up. And thank you, Spooky, for the item for the otherwise itemless birch. Amazing. I'll write that down there. So, yeah, you guys wake up, and it's not long before the rest of the town seems like it's waking up and getting ready for the big fight. What are you guys up to?
So as everybody's waking up, Kaylee's gonna crawl out and like quietly go to Cicero's bedroll and sort of shake him. Cicero.
Yeah, Cicero wakes up from what seems to be his first restful night since he's been here. Yes, what is it? And as he's kind of rubbing his eyes and sees it's Kaylee. Yes, Kaylee.
And she kind of looks and sees like the man's asleep and like the septum's asleep. And what are we going to do with this man in our tent? Are we going to go into the dungeons? Or...
If one of our men is alive, it sounds like it's... Oh God, what's his name? Sir Andaren. And we need to rescue him.
Do you think the boy's with him? Would they be smart enough to keep them apart?
Wherever the boy is, he's bound to be somewhere in their dungeons. I'll have to bring him out for the tournament.
So...
We might be able to free him then.
Well, here's a thought. And she looks back over and makes sure the septum is still resting. What if Birch goes with the man? Because they'll all be taken by the fight. And all we have to do is stay alive and...
Cicero's eyes shift skeptically towards the septum. If you think that we can trust him with such a task, then I'm willing to go along with that.
She kind of like leans back, sitting on her knees, rubs her hand and thought, you know, he surprised me a lot this trip. He's not just an old portly man. I think if it's in the best interest of us, then it's in the best interest of him. And any man that holds their word to the gods, new or old, I think that we can trust.
There's certainly more to him than meets the eye. But we'll let him know when he wakes up. Sure, he'll be thrilled to know that his lord commands him to do this.
Kaylee nods. Well, I suppose we could let him rest a bit longer.
Yeah, around this time, it looks like Matthew is waking up. He's like, I gotta get some food or drink or something. It's cold down here. He's trying to warm me up.
So Kaylee stands. Go ahead.
Yeah, he just sits up in bed and just shoots Matthew a pretty vicious look. Like, how dare you ask for anything while you're tied to a post in the middle of our tent?
So Kaylee stands and goes over to him. Unfortunately, we're not going to give you anything that's going to warm your bones. We need you sober. for a task. But you may have some water. She goes and like fills up a cup and brings him water and sort of like tilting it into his mouth.
Fine. He like drinks it. Well, if you're gonna let me get to the dungeons, then you're gonna have to undo my binds.
In due time. But for now, I think you're plenty fine right there.
All right. I'll just wait right here then.
Kaylee actually comes and like sits across from him, kind of just like staring him down awkwardly. Just need to wait for the septum to wake up.
Septum Birch, presumably you wake up at some point.
Yep, at some point. It's a very uncomfortable night of sleep. Prick my neck, get up, just look over and see this like tense, awkward staring going on. So how are we all this morning?
Wonderful, Septum. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. I've never slept worse. So, what are we doing today?
Well, Kaylee and I are partaking in Battle of the Seven,
Yes.
and
of course.
you will be accompanying Matthew here to the dungeons.
I'm going with him.
And this is what you command, my lord.
Says,
JJ, what am I doing here?
Fantastic. Of course, yes. It's going to be a wonderful day, Matthew. He kind of grits his teeth, and like, you can just see like the night of bad sleep just weigh on him so heavily, even harder in this moment of just like, like the shoulders drop, just. All right, well, some breakfast then, and gets up and just prepares waking up.
And if Valian is nearby, Cicero, I think, will ask her to go with them as well, because he knows that she knows the dungeons.
Okay. I'm sure she would agree to go.
Okay.
As well.
Yeah.
So Cicero and Kaylee, you guys are headed off to the tournament or the trial really in Septum Birch. Matthew and Valian are going together to the dungeons. Okay. So as you guys are getting outside, who should be there? But of course, Sir Donald Lee. He is coming with, of course, we have on your side, yes, Arvin and Hector Oakhart is with him. The two redhead brothers known as the Black Knights. There is Reynold Glover, who is the elderly knight, but of much fame from the Glover family. And, of course, with them is Squire Roynard, who has been released from captivity for today's trial. He has a sword in one hand, and they put some armor on him as well. So Donald Lee leads the group and says, Lord Cicero, Kaylee Tarbeck, good to see you all on such a fantastic day. We have the 7 of us ready for combat. How are we all feeling?
Well, I must say this is the best feeling I've ever had in my entire life, to be here with all of you. She like smiles and like reaches up, like if it's a tall reach, reaches up to like kind of like pat his shoulder.
Yeah. He kind of like clasps your shoulder right back and is like, today, justice will be meted out. He looks at Cicero's arm as well as Kaylee's injuries have been wrapped up. You two get into a little bit of a practice fight, did you? I hope you're fit for battle today.
Kay looks over at Cicero, like a side glance.
Cicero smirks a bit and just nods. I trained a bit too hard, but we should be just fine for the battle.
Well, I too have enjoyed a very long and very hard training exercise with several of my knights this morning. We really broke out into quite the sweat. It was fantastic. And I'm ready now for today's battle. So let me tell you. And he kind of like the seven of them sort of join of you in like a little bit of like a team huddle, sort of a circle. And Sir Donald Lee says, "Let me tell you of our opponents whom we will be facing in battle today. First of all, of course, we have Lord Michael Blackwood, the bastard. He is a absolute fiend in more than one way. Wields a sword and a shield, and of course is very proficient in both. Lord Cicero, I suggested you take him, for he is the opponent which you are here to face. Now, the rules of this trial of 7 are simple. Lord Cicero or Lord Michael Blackwood must be defeated, which can mean one of two things, that they are killed in battle or that one of them yields. You need not kill Michael to secure a victory, you must only gain his yield, although you are well within your rights to kill him in this trial, Lord Cicero. So keep that in mind. You need not hold your sword, though some would consider it more knightly to let this cowardly man live out the rest of his days in eternal shame. But such is the case. While the rest of us 6 must do battle with their opposing 6. Now, once again, we must defeat them, and we can kill or be killed in the doing so. Such things do happen. But the battle will end when either Lord Cicero or Lord Michael Blackwood yield or are killed, at which point the rest of us must cease, for the trial of 7 has been completed. Therefore, there are tactics and such things. We can try and gang up on Lord Michael Blackwood. Or, Cicero, we can buy you space to see through the battle with Michael towards the end, so that you can have off with him. Now, our opponents are trained knights as well. Nathan Timber is one such cad. He has sworn allegiance to the Boltons long ago and is a knight of some ill repute. Then there is Orland Swiggett, quite the swine, if I do say so myself. He has seen many trials, although he is looking to prove himself in this, a younger knight, though nonetheless deadly with the morning star which he wields. Then there is Sir Everin Boatwright. I believe you may have met this sworn individual in the past, Lord McNair, for he is, of course, of a neighboring family to you. The Boatwrights, it seems, have sworn their allegiance over towards the Boltons and the Blackwoods. Perhaps it is diplomatic for them to do so, but nonetheless, Everin will be looking to prove himself here. Then there are the Bracks. One, Sir Doran Brack, and the second, Sir Bruce Brack. A fitting name for quite the thug, if I would say so myself. Hector and Arvin, Arvin says, we'll take those two. Twins on twins. Should be fun. Sir Donald Lee nods. Excellent, excellent. Then there is Sir Kieran Glovelin. He is my counterpart, whom I will be taking in the fight, sir. So Kieran and I long have rivalry between the two of us. All eyes will be on us to see who is the greater swordsman. I believe it is me. So, those are the 7 whom we face off against, along with Lord Michael Blackwood, of course. They are deadly foes, make no mistake. And we have one amongst our number, he looks over to Squire Roynard, who is unlikely to be truly fit for battle. That is as things stand. Oh, and I should note that every trial by 7 starts on horse. We will be mounted, lancing towards the opponents. Then the brawl may descend onto a melee by foot. So you should all have your jousting lances ready, and, if I should say, your war lances as well, for a jousting lance. We're looking to kill. Is all understood? I do absolutely love a good trial by 7. There hasn't been one in the kingdoms for, decades. All will remember this moment in glory. So remember, friends, if you live or if you die, today is a day to be remembered. Well, I think that
Cicero
covered everything.
Cicero nods very solemnly, as much of this information is somewhat new to him. Like you say, there hasn't been a trial by 7 in many, many years, and he's not very accustomed to this, but he holds his determination and nods to the knights that surround him. Thank you all for partaking in this task with me. McNair home will always be a friend to you, should we survive this.
There's a sort of mutual nod from all of them. So, Squire Royned rather says, There is one matter, my lord. Only a knight can partake in a trial by 7. Forgive me, my lord, but I don't think I'm the only one here who isn't a knight. He looks towards Kaylee.
By the time the tournament comes around, both of you will at least appear to be knights.
So Reynold Glover will he's the older guy, who's been once around the block a few times, says, McNair, if you want, I can say the words, have it done in a moment. They're both eligible to be knights, and if I may say so, I think they should be knights. If they are to stand trial by the 7. I know the words.
Aye. Tell them to me, and I will knight them.
Very well. Boy, girl, repeat after me. I offer my services, Lord McNair.
I offer my services, Lord McNair.
I will shield your back and keep your counsel and give my life for yours if needs be.
I will shield your back and keep your counsel and give my life for yours if need be. And she makes eye contact with Cicero.
I swear it by the old gods and the new.
I swear it by the old gods and the new.
Lord Cicero, your response. And I vow that you shall always have a place by my hearth, and meat and mead at my table.
And I vow that you shall always have a place at my hearth, and meat and mead by my table.
And I pledge to ask no service of you that might bring you dishonor.
I pledge to ask no service of you that might bring you dishonor.
I swear it by the old gods and the new.
I swear it by the old gods and the new.
Arise. And he dubs the sword on Kaylee and Squire Royned, and the two of you rise as knights.
Kaylee stands, still looking at Cicero and nods. That's that then.
Very well. Sir Roynard, Lady Tarbeck. Today, with that, he turns and leads the rest of the group to the tournament field to get ready for the battle.
Okay. So you with now Sir Kaylee Tarbeck and Sir Squire Sir Roynard, rather, not Squire Roynard anymore. The group of you head off. It's a Squire, yeah. With Sir Arvin Oakart, Sir Hector Oakart, Sir Ronald Glover, Sir Donald Lee. And you head to the tournament field. Meanwhile, Septon Birch, you are with Matthew, whose hands are still sort of bound and tied, but he's probably been let off the pole at this point. Valian is with you, but for the purposes of this scene, it's really just Septon Birch who's leading this one.
Okay, then. I believe we have an understanding of the arrangement we have. And I need you to understand that there's nothing that would make me happier than both of us walking away from this situation fit, happy, and healthy when it's all over. Right?
Right. It's fine by me, mate. As long as we go in, we get out quick before anyone notices, like.
Excellent. Then,
if we're going to do this, though, you are going to have to cut me out of my binds, because I'm going to have to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me get you free, and he will go around the pole and get his dagger out. But before he does, he leans a little bit closer and just says, "As a reminder, you may have noticed that my equipment is no longer in this tent. It is somewhere else, and it will stay that hidden somewhere else until we are through, just to make sure you don't go digging through it and looking for the antidote before we are completely caught up with what we need to do." Again, just completely lying through his teeth because he just lost his shit. So then he cuts the binds and frees Matthew.
All right. He is freed and smiles, kind of like stretches a little bit. All right then. So here's the case. What I'm going to do, we're going to go up to the dungeons. I'm going to relieve them of their duty, say that the boss did it. That'll buy us at least 10 minutes before they figure anything's gone weird.
Excellent.
I'll get you in. You can see your man. As far as getting him out again, well, we're going to need some kind of disguise, most likely, if you want to get him out alive. That's assuming he can walk. Assuming he has feet. So, I suggest we stop by the market and grab a robe, shawl to cover him up in.
Fantastic.
If he does go missing, they're going to find out and they're going to come looking for him. So maybe we should get a horse and send him back to your lands.
That sounds like the best course of action. Are there any horses that the McNair household still held after a bunch of them were poisoned by us? Or are they all? I think
they're all dead. Yeah, I think they're all dead. And the others are being used in the tournament because they start mounted.
Shit.
Your horse?
Unfortunately, there was an incident at the stables. Apparently, some rapscallion poisoned all the horses. So we are currently without a means of getting him out quickly. Do you have any recommendations for what we can do?
I mean, a horse is my suggestion.
Great.
If not,
Fantastic.
I mean, you can lose a man in the woods pretty easy. If he knows his way around these lands, that's the best chance you're going to have. If he stays here, he's a dead man.
You said you brought him in through the woods, correct?
Yeah, I carried him in, dead of night.
Was his face covered? Did you do anything to prevent him from understanding where he was? Or if we returned him to where he was captured, could he find his way back to the McNair lands easily?
He seems like a smart man. If he's a knight, he can probably find his way home again.
That's our best course of action then for now. So,
all right.
Let's go find him some robes. Let's go break into the Blackwood dungeon and free a prisoner there, unleashing him into the forest. Yes,
Sure.
Let's go do that.
I got nothing to lose.
Right.
Yeah, the two of you go to the market and you can pick up like a big robe or shawl or whatever to like cover big enough to cover a man in.
Actually,
And,
so this could be totally nothing, but mine was covered in bear blood last night. If I find like the Maester's Conclave or something like that, is there any chance that the old Septon Birch could try to see if there's any other like robes of the seven that, you know, I'm guessing there's not that many, but if anyone else has a Septon that was sent to their house?
You would have to most likely go to the keep where everyone in like of status enough to have private housing would be staying. And there isn't like a sept around here where you might be able to get robes.
Not worth it. He's getting some of last year's fashion then.
Yeah, they look priestly enough. I mean, they're like long robes.
Sure.
So Matthew also will suggest getting like a walking stick, in case you can't walk properly, you might have to lean on it. And so, he then leads you to the keep and suggests that you have your like hood up and stuff. So you get to the entrance to the dungeons. There are 2 guards on point, both wearing Blackwood's uniform. And before you get too close, Matthew will say, "You stay here. I'll go and talk to him. All right?"
Right. I'll wait for your signal, and he will rein back.
Okay. You watch as Matthew goes over towards the 2 guards and seems to have a conversation with the 2 of them. There's a point where voices are almost raised to an argument, and then Matthew sort of like points off, and the 2 of them begin to move off from their position. He looks furtively over towards you and sort of, in a small motion, bids you to come over.
Hurried steps his way.
Yeah. So you step into the dungeons, and at this point you're really just at like the opening, almost like a guest room, right? There's no one on duty, and the stairs lead downwards into darkness. Matthew goes in with a set of keys to open the door and shuts the front door behind you and locks it.
Okay, so now we're inside. Where are they keeping him in here?
Down there and on the right.
Okay. I guess stay here in case
I'll
someone
keep an
comes
eye here.
back. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. And Birch will descend the steps and try to find Andaren.
Okay. You step down into the gloomy and pretty wet underfoot. They've clearly got like a leak here that they haven't bothered to try and stop her up. Rats and the stench of decay and feces rise to your nostrils. You see several people in cells here who look emaciated, near to death, very thin. They don't seem to move towards the sound of your movement. They don't seem to react to that in any way. They've got like a thin pallet, a lot of straw on the ground, but it looks fetid, and there is basically just a bucket in them. That's really the only thing that these people have. You see 5 or 6 people down here until you spot Andaren, who's down the far end of the corridor in a cell of his own. He's hung up to the wall and completely naked. He is like pinned to the wall by the arms and the ankles, and just by looking at him, he looks like he's asleep or unconscious right now. He has a gash across his forehead where it looks like it was probably done in battle, because it's healed somewhat, but it hasn't healed clean. You can tell that immediately. It's like healed dirty, and it's when you see a wound that's just going septic, and it's not going to look good. It's deep enough to look like it's got maggots on it, and all sorts of flies buzzing around him, and those are just that's just the first wound that you spot. There are multiple lacerations all around his body, and horrifyingly enough, you can see that he's missing a couple of fingers on his left hand.
Is there any way to get close to him? Is he behind a cell and also chained to the wall, or is he just chained?
Yeah, he's behind a cell and also chained to the wall, but you're within several feet of him, close enough where he could hear you, most likely.
Okay. Then Birch will call out his name in a hushed voice, just Andaren. Andaren, wake up. Are you still? Andaren, wake up.
He looks up, and you can see one of his eyes that's been, bruised and beaten isn't working anymore. Most likely blinded, at least in one eye. And the other one squints out at you.
Birch will drop the hood. Seems the gods have answered your prayers, Andaren.
What are you doing here?
Cicero sent me down here while he fights for his house's honor. Now I am to get you out of here as quickly and as quietly as possible. Are you capable of moving?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Shit. Do you know where they keep the keys to these doors? Have you been conscious when they come and unlock these doors or anything? Do you know how?
There's a jailer. He's upstairs, but listen. I'm not gonna make it out of here. Not alive, at least. Even if I make it out of these walls. They'll skin me. It's better let you end it.
We have a plan, Andaren. We can get you out of here. It is Cicero's orders that you escape. You broke them once by running off into the woods. Don't break them again.
Listen, I made a mistake. I should never have disobeyed my lord, but there's things that he should know before I die. Things that I've heard down here. The jailer's captors. I've overheard taunting me and the like. They got something planned bigger than this. They plan to kill him. Cicero, that is. And then they plan to invade. They're gonna take the McNair Hall. And listen, there's someone else. I heard word of the Boltons as well. I don't know if they're here or if they're involved, but I know it's got something to do with them. The other thing is a traitor. Someone close to him. Close to McNair. Can't trust anyone.
Do you know who?
I don't. But they're getting information from somewhere. They know everything about us. Where they were coming from, where our scouts were going. How many troops we have, what our hall looks like. Someone's been telling them this. They want me. That I swear.
Interesting. Is that it then? Is that all you have?
It's the best I could do. Tomorrow I'd take another finger. But this wound on my head, it's killed me already. I took down 4 of them before this axe laid into my skull. I can feel the flies crawling on it every day. I slip in and out of consciousness. I can feel the fevers taking me. The food they feed me, the water they feed me is bad. I'm dying down here. Not from the torture, but from this. Listen, I'm not good to you anymore. I'm just a failed captain who should have listened to his lord. But at least I managed to pass on this to you before I died. They're coming for us. Septon. They're all coming for us. The great John, he needs to know that the Boltons can't be trusted. This is war. I should have seen it coming. I didn't. I was blind. Blinder than I am now. You take this word to Cicero. You take this word to Lord McNair. And you take this word to the great John. It's our only hope.
Any last requests from you, Andaren? Any other words to Ken or others you'd like me to send?
I tell them I'm sorry. Tell them I failed them. I broke my vow. This house needs a new generation. Fresh blood. Someone better. And one last request, Captain, if you could.
Go on.
Can you kill me?
How much distance is there between the cell door and the wall where he is held up against?
It's far enough away that you couldn't reach a blade to him. I mean, the best you could probably hope to do from this range is like throw a dagger.
No, that's okay, because at this point then Birch will lean as close as he can to the cell door. I'm guessing there's bars.
Yeah.
They are. And he will take his staff and lean it through and kind of put it up and rest it very softly against like his neck right here. And just be like looking Andaren directly in the eyes and just kind of a very slow nod as if like, are you ready?
Do it.
And then just shoves and pushes like as hard as he can to kind of choke him to death.
Goes into the back of his esophagus and through the back of his neck, and just runs him through, and he's instantly dead.
Pulls it out and just shakes his head, but takes note of everything and all the new interesting information he was given, and makes his way back to Matthew. Alone.
Matthew's at the top. You get him? Where is he?
It's unfortunate. He was already dead.
Fuck me. Alright. Well, I didn't know that, but... Alright, what now?
We go check on Cicero and the rest. You just go out and... How about you stop by the tent later, check in, and let us know if you hear anything else.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, nice, easy, we're all happy.
Alright, tell me twice. I'm laying low. And
We'll see you
the two of
soon,
you sort
Matthew.
of part ways. Yeah, as you get outside the door, he shuffles off into a crowd. Where do you go, Sipton?
Oh, geez. I guess I will start heading to wherever this battle is going to take place, because, I mean, Birch has to know if there's even a young lord to report to after this day's over.
It's a good question.
Actually, oh, God. Actually, I'm sorry, y'all. The first thing he does is find a tavern. Do I still have the...
Sure you do.
What to say? You'll leave another note? That's just the Boltons' plan to take House McNair. Moving with the Blackwoods soon. Resistance is building. I'll leave it at that. And then he will go find Cicero, Kaylee, and the rest.
Alright, as you return to the field, Cicero and Kaylee, you have found yourselves on horse with the other 5 knights who are part of your 7. You're back in the tourney grounds, but there are no, there's no rigging up for any kind of joust. It's like an open field that's been given to you, so it's more like a football field, really, at this point, with nothing running down the line. There are crowds on either side who are hotly anticipating the trial by 7. If anything, this has drawn larger crowds than yesterday's tournament did, because word has spread pretty quickly that the first trial by 7 in decades is taking place today, and whatever side you're here to watch, this is an event not to be missed. Once again, in the kind of royal stalls, there's Lord Bolton and his entourage, along with the Lord and Lady Blackwood, who are up there watching as well. On the other side of the field are the 7 knights whom you are opposed to. You spot immediately Lord Michael Blackwood out there on his dark stallion, full of his embroidered plate armor which is upon him. You'll recognize the 2 other twins, Sir Doran and Sir Bruce Brack, whom are also sworn men of the Boltons. You can see Hector and Arvin are already sort of lining up to be opposite them for the initial charge, the 2 Black Knights who are part of your retinue. Nathan Timber and Orlan Swiggett are the other 2 opposing knights on the other side, and it looks like Squire Roynard and Reynold Glover are sort of set to oppose them. And Sir Kieran Glovelin is opposed to Sir Donald Lee. The 2 of them apparently have some kind of rivalry and they're set to charge down one another. The 7 of you are sort of waiting. It's this awkward sort of pre-game wait where There's some time to sort of talk tactics and divide up who wants to go against who for the initial charge and who you want to take on the fight. So what would you guys like to do? You have your knightly companions with you if you'd like to confer.
Cicero really just looks to Kaylee and says, "Remember what I told you last night?"
Of course. It was for both of us, though.
Right.
Cis-
For the
Cicero,
rest of you. Yes.
do you still have that little figure I gave you?
Cicero moves his hand to his pocket, where he's been keeping the silver stout, and nods.
She nods and lets him continue his train of thought.
As for the rest of you, I've asked a lot of you to come and fight alongside of me for a rivalry that has gone on for a long time now. But I hope you know this battle is not just for me, it's not just against the Blackwoods. It's against what they stand for and for what they do. They are not a just folk, and they do not hold honor. You do. For that you should all be proud men and lady. I hope to see you all on the other side of this battle. But I can't pretend that that is sure to happen.
Donald Lee, for once, looks grave. This is perhaps the first time that you've seen anything but a smile on his face. And he looks at you quite earnestly and says, "Knowing you for the past few days has been the honor of a lifetime. To die by your side would be tenfold the honor. We will give it to them, my lord, and we will show them the old ways."
Oh, we will. May the gods be on our side.
So Roynid looks to you and says, I'm sorry, my lord. I never meant for any of this to happen."
It's not your fault. You are innocent. Do you understand that you need to fight to uphold your honor?
You're right. I will. I'm a knight now. It's all I've ever trained for.
You are ready, Sir Roynard.
Nods. So, 7 of you stand against their 7, several hundred feet apart. Now, for my own record, I've put down who is going to be sort of jousting against one another for the initial runoff. So it looks like Glover is with Sir Donald Lee. The Bracks are against the Oakharts. Sorry, Glovelin, not Glover. My mistake. Sir Timber and Sir Glover against each other. Swiggett, Sir Roynid, Michael, and Cicero, leaving Everon Boatwright against Kaylee Tarbeck. If you want to make any alterations, then let me know, but that's just what I put down for the ease of running with it. Because I figured that Cicero would definitely want to go for Michael in the joust again. So, you eye down your opponent, similarly mounted and lanced, receiving the last minutes of talking with one another while the crowds gather. Perhaps the largest crowds you guys have ever seen gathered for any singular event. At long last, there is a trumpet call, and Lord Bolton stands. His voice while Finley Spoken projects across the crowd due to his position within the stalls, and he says, "Today we hold the trial by 7, which will decide the fate of one Sir Roynard, formerly known as Squire Roynard. The crimes leveled against him are thus that he is a poacher, and that he did poach a deer 2 days past, and he has been caught for this crime. While the initial deciding bout was inconclusive, a trial by 7 has been called for. 14 of the finest knights from across the kingdoms have been brought to assembly here. Many may die, but in the end, justice will be found by the old gods and the new. May the blessings of the gods be upon all of the appointed knights here today, and let justice be remedied." With that, there's a huge sort of cheer from the crowd as it's that moment of sheer, joy and excitement and adrenaline as everything is about to happen. It's almost for Cicero and Kaylee as though time has slowed down as you see the horses whinnying and your opponents lowering their lances towards you. It's almost like time stops for a second. The moment before the swell of energy begins and the horses are kicked into motion, and 7 knights against 7 knights from across the 7 kingdoms are sought into battle with one another. Your lances are lowered as the horses kick into action, and you look across from you at your friends who are with you. You are set into motion. So Donald Lee, you can tell immediately, is completely focused on what is hapning, while the oak carts charge down with a ferocity that you have not seen in someone for a very long time. Now, it's time for a joust! So let's do the joust, my friends. So I want to ask Cicero and I want to ask Kaylee, what stances are you taking in this joust?
So Kaylee is going to try and remember everything that she's heard from the previous training, because she's never jousted before, like with any like real competence. Maybe like played with it, before, but never like really done much. So, but I'm going to assume that. So she's going to try to go for. Probably go to hit the shoulder to kind of like lance it up and knock him off. I don't know if she's going to want to directly like go directly for a kill right now. I don't remember what the hell that was, but
okay, that's all good. I think that's all right. Yeah, so you lower your lance and you see Sir Everin Boatwright across from you as you guys charge closer together. Their symbol being that of a boat, basically. So his helmet actually has a boat on top of it, like a tiny miniature metal boat, which is what you... that's the one thing that shines out to you and that helps you keep your focus as you lower your lance towards him. That's the thing that you're aiming for, because basically if you hit him, you're going to hit him there in the face. And oh my god, Mr. Pokey, thanks so much for all the wild magic surges there for the Blackwoods. I'll get to that in just a second. Let's just check. I think it's the braced position that Kaylee's taking then. Oh, you know what? I can't be bothered to actually find all the pages for those rolls right now. Let's just roll your fighting with the any bonuses that you have in spears.
okay.
As bonus dice. And I'm going to roll up these D10,000s now.
So what I need to roll? It's the
Fighting with any bonuses in spears.
so just the
before
4.
whole space shenanigans. Yeah, 4 dice looks like.
Okay. Oh god.
Oh, that's not so hot. It's
Okay.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Okay. Gonna roll 4. Oh, baby. Oh, Kaylee, this isn't looking so good. Alright, we'll get to this in a second because at the moment that the lances strike, this is when the wild magic happens. Cicero, I want you to roll your fighting as well. And this is against Michael as well.
So if Cicero were to take the aggressive stance, can you remind me what that does again?
I believe that gives you a +1 to your fighting thingy.
Gotcha.
I think it gives you +1 to your fighting score. Let's say that for now.
Okay.
Actually, it's a +1 or a +2. You get to decide.
That's right. Okay. You do a +1.
Yeah, there we go. Feel free to roll that, by the way, while I'm looking this up.
Yep. That'll be a 13.
13 is the hit. There we go, yeah, aggressive. +1 to the result of your fighting test, a minus from the same with animal handling. So 13 is definitely a hit. He gets to roll back, of course. One of these is a bonus dice, which gets subtracted. So the lowest one's subtracted, so it's 17 is his score, which is also a hit. Okay, but time to look at the wild magic surges because this is about to change everything. So here's what's happening. Kaylee is missing while Everin Boatwright is hitting her with the lance, and Cicero and Michael are about to hit one another's lances together as well. But wild magic happens. So the first wild magic here is for Sir Kieran Glovelin, who is fighting against Sir Donald Lee. His wild magic surge reads 8549. Everyone who sees this casting hears an eerie moaning for 1d4 days. We'll say that as this happens, there is an almost spectral sort of as there is something very strange that happens. As you know, it's almost ghostly. If you've ever had a moment where like your time almost seems like it stops and you just hear your heartbeat, and there's just like something weird about this moment as your lances touch. Perhaps it is the gods who are speaking to you. Perhaps it is Sir Donald Lee who's enjoying this. All right, that is the first Sir Brack, who's up against Sir Arvin Oaktree, guy who speaks. He gets, oh my god, his skin will melt if he gets too close to a campfire. Well, I'm going to say that Sir Brack has got some melty skin right now. And I'll tell you why in a second. Melty skin. He's like the hound. Okay, the other Sir Brack got 616. Most fortuitous number. He can't harm or be harmed by elementals for 4d10 months, rather. Let's say, so while the other guy has like melty skin, this guy is like impervious to fire. So he doesn't give no shits about fire. Sir Timber, who's against Reynold Glover, it's 9631. Someone nearby finds a potion that changes its drinker's sex. Interesting. I think that one is probably someone in the crowd who is so drunk that they think that they may have discovered a potion. Actually, I tell you what it is. There's a guy in the crowd, is a charlatan who's selling all sorts of magical potions. He's promising people everything. He's got one that will make you 10 times stronger than a bear. He's got one that will make you able to fly, and he's just flogging all of these wares off as potions to people in the crowd right now. Okay, 7688. Oh man, this is Sir Swiggett, who's up against Squire Roynard, or Sir Roynard rather. His blade is guilty of numerous capital crimes. I like that. Swiggett is like a murderer, and his sword has committed terrible crimes. He's used his sword to do terrible, terrible things in the past. I like that. That's, if anything, that may have buffed him. Michael Blackwood, let's see what he gets. 2173. Ooh. Michael's magic leaves a filmy residue on precious metals. I'm gonna say that he's got some shenanigans going on with his weapon. That you see, like, his blade has just got something on it, some coating on the blade of the lance, Cicero, that you spot just before it crashes into you. And last but not least, Sir Everin Boatwright, who is about to hit Haley Tarbeck. This is so amazing. So Everin Boatwright has ironclad proof that all of this is an illusion. So Everin Boatwright is going into this in the full knowledge that none of it is real. Boatwright right now, he has the definitive proof that this entire event, perhaps even life itself, is all just an illusion. So I think that gives him a little bit of a laissez-faire attitude as he's charging in here. He's tripping on balls right now. He's just he's out of here. I love it so much. Okay, well, they were weird, but they don't seem to have greatly affected things, other than perhaps Michael cheating he's cheating on Cicero right now. But let's determine the outcome of the joust. Kaylee, what is your animal handling score? And is it 5? Because if it's not,
It's a 3.
it's a free. Do you have any bonus in ride? It would be under animal handling.
I don't see it, but I don't.
Yeah, if it's not under animal handling, you don't have it. So, okay, that's good. So what was your animal handling again? Sorry, was it 3? Yeah. So 9. You rolled 20. Woo. Okay. That's good. Cicero, your animal handling plus ride. You'd have to test it. You just gotta. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you'd have to test it. You've just got to tell me what the number is. Oh, you're muted, mate.
All right, there we go. So it's 3, and I do have ride. There's also
1 in ride, yeah.
Yeah, there's also a -1 from the aggressive stance.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. So 8 was the number he's looking for. He rolled 17, which is 3 degrees. Okay, what I need Kaylee and Cicero to do right now is to roll me an animal handling test, which is to prevent yourselves from being unhorsed by the lance.
Okay, so the 4 again.
4 again, yeah. Okay, so 7, 11, 13. Okay. And what about Cicero?
And I rolled that one before. Do you want me to roll another one?
Oh, yeah, let's use that one. That's a pretty good roll.
Okay.
17 is enough for you to stay on your horse. So you are not unhorsed. You are hit by the lance, but you're not unhorsed. Haley, you are hit by the lance, and you are unhorsed. Sir Everin Boatwright's lance dips itself towards you, hitting home, striking true, and with the momentum as it hits your shield, it kind of shimmies off the shield into your chest, and you find yourself being thrown backwards from the horse, landing very awkwardly. I mean, you're in plate armor. All of you are in plate armor right now. They wouldn't let you ride out in anything but plate. However, this does have consequences. So, let's do some math. So, first of all, we'll do the damage that they do to you, and then we'll figure out what you guys did to them. Unfortunately, Kaylee missed with her lance, but Cicero did hit. So before he rides off, we'll figure out his stuff as well. It's animal handling plus 5. Fuck. So that is 4 plus 5 is 9. Powerful weapon, which is 10. No ranks in strength, so that's 10. Plus 2 for a charge, 12. It did double your damage, or double your combat defense rather. So it doubles the damage from 12 to 24. Sir Haley Tarbik, you take 24 points of damage. 10 of these are removed by your armor because you're wearing plate armor. So you have 14 wounds that are unaccounted for right now. And I'll remind you of things that we can do about this. With regards to taking damage. Now, and I have to remind myself on the healing section as well exactly how much you can remove in terms of wounds and injuries. We'll get to that in a second. Haley falls off a horse, is hit by a lance, and is probably close to being killed by the lance. Like that's a lance which has gone probably through the armor and has struck you full bore. As for you, Cicero, the number is 12. And he rolled a 17, and yours was a base 8 after the animal hand. Yeah. So you also take 24, Cicero, minus your armor. However, you are going to deal that damage right back to Michael as well. So let me find the stuff on healing here, because you can take wounds and you can take injuries to reduce the amount of damage that you actually take in terms of health. So this may be the case where Haley decides that she's going to take like a grievous sort of wound to prevent herself from dying, which may be something like, you've got like a wound by your heart, basically, that always like gives you
a cool scar.
Never, yeah, you get a cool scar from this. Let me find healing. Man, I wish I knew this game in and out. Here we go. Recovery 166. Oh, it's 3 pages away. Right, so injuries. There's a minor, rarely fatal wound. Anytime you take damage, you can accept an injury to reduce the damage taken by an amount equal to your endurance rank. I think Kaylee's endurance is 3, and I think Cicero's endurance is 2. So for every injury, you reduce the damage by 2. So you've got 14 sort of that you're taking. You cannot accept more injuries than your endurance rank. So you can only take 2 wounds, Cicero, to reduce it by 4. Haley can take 3 wounds and reduce this by 9. However, you have a -1 penalty to the results of all of your tests for each injury that you have. So if you have to take 3 injuries, you get a -3 to all of your rolls, basically. So if you rolled a 16, it's reduced to a 13. Wounds are even worse. Some attacks are so brutal and deadly that the only way you can overcome them is by accepting a wound. A wound removes all damage taken from a single hit. In exchange, we're taking -1 dice on all tests. If the number of wounds you take equals your endurance rank, you die, basically. So Cicero can only take 1 wound. Haley can take 2 wounds. These are like lifesavers, basically. However, you have a -1 on all of your tests until you get that healed, and that can take a matter of weeks to heal, like major wounds, basically. The one other resource that you have at your disposal is fate points. Fate points can be burned to prevent you from dying, and are a resource that I think you probably start off with about 2 of, unless you spent any in character creation, which I don't think any of you did. So you have 2 of those, which are basically, hey, please don't let me die right now, escape total death, that you can use. So those are the resources at your disposal to keep you guys alive. What do you guys feel like doing here?
I don't know. I guess to take Kaylee would take a wound, but can I use that in combo? Like, I don't want her to die. Not yet.
Yep. If you take a wound, then you reduce all damage is taken away. You don't take any damage, you just take the wound. So you're still up on your feet and you're fighting, but you're a -1 dice to all of your tests until you get that wound healed.
I feel like that's like the best route to go for her.
Yeah, it makes sense. It keeps her alive and fighting. You're like still in the fight at this point.
Pumping some adrenaline, but she's gonna maybe they'll remove her plate at the end of it, and she's like collapsed
Absolutely.
alone, and if I ever
So,
have trouble.
yeah. Probably that. You probably have pierced a lung in some way, and there's all sorts of internal bleeding which is happening. So Kaylee is thrown from a horse backwards. The horse flies off as well, running away into the crowds until it's eventually caught and restrained. But that goes wild. Like Kaylee falls back, and you just go like head over heels. You see the sky. You crash your back into the sand. It's only the plate armor that probably stops your back from breaking at that point. And you are stunned, dazed, not dead. But there is this huge sort of if you've seen A Knight's Tale, that wound by his heart from the lance where it's punctured through the armor, and there are just shards of lance wood which are coming out from this point in your body right now. Cicero, what would you like to do, my friend?
Oh no. So let's see. If I take an injury, will I still be alive and able to fight?
You can take up to 2 injuries, and you're at -2. Your health is 6.
Yeah. All right. So never mind. That's not going to work then.
So injuries aren't really on the table for you. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me take a wound as well.
Okay. You remain in your horse as you are wounded. The lance smashes into you full bore, but you manage to maintain control of the horse as you watch Michael's lance basically rip into you. At the same time, however, you hit him. And he has to roll an animal handling test to stay on his horse. And a DC for him, you rolled on your attack roll, what did you get? I feel like it was 12. Was it the 17 you rolled?
It was.
Was it 12 that you got? Yeah.
It was the 12 plus 1.
That's right, so 13 overall is what you're trying to beat. His horsemanship keeps him in his seat as this happens. So the two of you cross, both of your lances are thrown down. And for the records, you aren't given more lances by Squire, so it's assumed that everything goes to a hand-to-hand situation after this, so it's not more bouts of knights coming in. So the knights cross one another. Haley is sent flying backwards. Septon Birch, you arrive just in time in the stalls to watch this happen. You see Kaylee being thrown off her horse by Everin Boatwright, whose lance is broken into her. He throws it off, draws a sword, and charges back round to go and meet her as she's picking herself up from her feet. Cicero, meanwhile, trades lances with Michael. Neither of them are unhorsed. However, both of them are hit by the lances. Both of them draw weapons as they turn one another to fight and engage in the melee. You will also notice that in the battle, almost immediately, one of the bracks has been brained by an oak cart. The lance went through the back of his skull, and as the lance is connected, his skull just came off, basically, on the tip of the lance. And Arvin Oakheart just throws off the lance, unlimbers the axe from the back, and goes towards the other brack, sort of tag-teaming them. All around, other knights have trade lances as well. No one else is dead or unhorsed, but they are charging back together to join into a melee and a brawl. Across the battlefield, Michael lowers his sword towards you, Cicero, and says, "Cicero, face me!" And he charges towards you.
Yeah, Cicero immediately unsheaths his sword and trots toward Michael. I want to say probably not at the same speed that he's going, but kind of taking his time and staying back to find the best way to get the sword around his and hit him in some way.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Kaylee, you get back up from your feet in a daze as, all you hear right now is that sort of white noise from when you've been deafened by the sound of a lance, just piercing through steel plate. And you look up in your daze and you manage to have the wherewithal to see that Sir Everin Boatwright is charging back towards you. Not with a lance this time, but with a sword, but his intent is clear, to run you down. What would you like to do? Oh, you're muted.
Okay, so Kaylee kind of gasping for breath. She's stunned, but she goes into almost just like a fight like it's a fight or flight mentality, and she's gone to fight.
Right, absolutely.
So she's dazed, but she doesn't like. I wouldn't think she's not feeling what just really happened. Like she's not letting her mind absorb that. And so I think she's gonna, as he's coming towards her, I almost want to think that she's probably still trying to pull herself up, probably at the point that he would like reach her. But I think that she would probably go to block any attack first and try to like push him back, so she has a chance to move herself up.
Okay, so you're going in like a defensive posture, really, to try and. I guess this is the dodge action, really. Wait, let me check what the dodge action is. Well, yeah, kind of. Let's see if there's anything else. I'm trying to see here if there's any action that looks like it would be more beneficial to you than just standing and waiting for him. Okay, there's a couple of things you can do that I'll let you know in the games that you're allowed to do. You can try and dismount him. You can try and pull a rider from his mount if you wanted to do that as he passes by. Try and pull him down. You could also try to distract him, or as he comes by, you could just attack him, which is basically the equivalent of just like trading, like blocking his blow. But also you'd get a hit in yourself.
Can she, like, to like dismount him, attack the horse, like hit the horse?
Oh, you could go for the horse
to,
if you want. Yeah.
Because I'd imagine like if the horse went down, then he'd.
Oh yeah, if you kill the horse, he's not going anywhere. Well, he's going flying off the horse most likely. Yeah. Roll me an attack roll against the horse. So you're not attacking him, so the number that you're looking for is a lot lower. However, this is very disappointing. Oh my fuck. Okay.
Decapitate the horse.
Yeah, I gotta see how much damage to do to this thing. So your base damage, I think, is 3 plus 1, so 4. However, the degrees in which we succeed equals damage double or even triple that number. For instance, if you succeed by 1 degree of success, it's just a normal amount of damage. However, if you succeed by 2 degrees of success, which is doubling his combat defense, then you deal double the damage. If you deal triple that number of their combat defense, if you deal triple the damage, so it can really go quite pear-shaped if they roll really well on attack roll. Let's see back here for horses. I'm pretty sure this is just going to brain a horse, but I do want to check just in case we're needlessly murdering animals in this game.
Like in Kaylee's defense, she's purely thinking about living.
It's all about living.
Right. There's a little light that was like flickered on, and she's just, it's all about living right now.
The combat defense of a horse is 10. You rolled 22. So you deal double the damage, which is 8. And how do you kill a horse, Kaylee?
That makes me feel bad. Okay, so I'm trying to think like what would be like the best way to do this without her being trampled herself. So I'm going to assume like as he's running towards her, and he's, I guess it's, so like I'm going to picture like she's here, he's coming here. He's probably going to have the sword out on this side, because I'm assuming most people are right-handed. Right. So I think she's going to like probably sidestep or like tumble to the opposite side of his sword side and bring up her sword to like almost hit the horse like in the chest. It would almost look as if she was like coming up to swipe towards him, but would like hit the horse and just like slit its whole throat open. So like she was going for his legs. So, you know, she could have been going for him.
Yeah. It sort of it like slips down into the neck, and you just hold it there. Yeah. And the horse's neck is just, you know, like sliced open by the blade. And blood just sort of bursts out from it as it whinnies and dies, and it has a horrible screech of a dying animal. Perhaps nothing worse is the sound of a dying horse as it dies in agony. It's slow death for the creature as it falls over itself, breaking its legs into doing so. And he has to try and make an animal handling to prevent himself from being crushed under the force of the horse. He does succeed. Boatwright manages to dive off the horse at the last second before he's crushed under the weight of the beast. And while he is wounded by falling down and getting off the horse, he is not killed by the the damage. He, in fact, turns to you and sort of like undoes his visor so you can see him there and you can hear him better. And he says, "Dishonorable wench!" and rushes towards you. Thanks so much, Mikey. I get a crit for description of murdering a horse. I'll take it. Let's face it, the only way I'm getting crits around here is by killing horses. So he is charging towards you. Cicero and Michael, to decide which of you is going first, we have an agility roll. So he rolls 3 on his agility, and he rolled a 12.
Hooray. Alright. I got 4. Thank goodness.
Alrighty. Remember, you have -1 to this dice.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so
this roll,
let's
right?
do... Yeah, that's not going to win anyways, so...
That's true. So... Oh boy. Michael lowers towards... And rather than like a full-on charge, he like brings up his horse towards yours so that you can sort of fight one another on horseback. And your horses are almost sort of like side by side. He is going to attack you. He does so. And let's see. Two of these are bonus dice. So he removes the lowest 2. That is a very poor roll. He is rolled a 5 to hit you. That's the worst roll I've had all week. Ain't gonna do it. All right, that means that his his action against you is a failure. He brings his sword down towards you. You bring yours up, and the bites of steel clangs together. You turn away the blade, and Cicero, what do you do?
Oh, Cicero is absolutely going to swing back at him, and I'm going to use 2 of my crits for this as well.
Like this. I like this attitude.
So, let's see. So it's -1.
-1 dice. So what we've assumed is that 20s and this equal automatic 6s. So you were going to be rolling,
Gotcha.
what, 4 dice?
Yeah.
4 dice. So overall, remove 2 of them. 2 of them are 6s. So you got 12. So just roll 1d6.
Okay. Come on. That's a 4.
So a 16. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 16 overall is the number that you make, which is indeed a hit. It is double defense because he's light armor, which means he's got a massive combat defense. It is 8. So the damage on this is let's go look at your character sheets. Probably already been figured out there. It's 3 plus athletics plus 1, so it's 5 overall, doubled to 10. Let me go into my... Nope, that's the wrong one. Double to 10 because of the combat defense. However, that's right on his armor. So he has 10 armor because he's wearing plate. So he's really easy to hit, but it's really hard to get through to the armor. So despite the fact it's a really good hit, it clangs off his steel plate and his sort of black embroidered armor. You chip off a little bit of it. You're gonna have to do better than that, McNair. Meanwhile, the brawl continues, and Kaylee and Everin Boatwright are about to lower into combat once again, this time on foot. Kaylee, you had to roll agility to see which of you guys acts first. Remember, you're at -1 dice because of your wound to all of your tests here.
So
Amazing. So he acts first, meaning that he brings a blade down upon your head. He rolled. Holy shit. 21. What's your combat defense, Kaylee?
okay, can I use one of my can I use one of my 20s?
So there's no roll involved here. So
No,
like,
it's just gone.
trying to note, so Arcana was -6 your combat defense. We actually have to figure out,
Okay.
we have to reset. So it's agility plus athletics. Agility is 4, athletics is 4, so that's 8. There's no defensive bonus, so it's 8 minus 6. Well, your combat defense is 2. So he deals 3 times the normal amount of damage, meaning that he deals 15 points of damage to you. Minus 10 for your armor, so you take 5. Once again, you are presented with the option. Do you take 5 damage, which you can reasonably survive, being at 9 health? Do you wish to take a wound to remove all damage as the last wound that you can take before you die? Would you like to take some injuries? You can take up to 3 to reduce that damage by 3, but you'll be at minus 3 to all of your tests. My advice as a games master would be to probably just take the wound. 5 damage is enough to survive, and you're already at a lot of minuses from the existing wounds.
Okay, yeah, we'll just do that then.
So I think you're down to 4 health, meaning that the sword breaks through your defense and finds a weak point just sort of below your arm and by your chest here, and just sort of slices through, almost like a bone saw. It really cuts, and you come away with blood at it. You're not dead, you're still able to fight, but he's got one on you. You can see through the visor the kind of evil grin that he has on his face as he draws blood. What would you like to do, Kaylee?
Okay, well, I know that I want to use one of my 20s because I desperately need this at this point.
I need this.
Okay, I need this. Okay, so I'm gonna try to like describe this. I'm not doing a lot of combat. I'm gonna try to think of like I want this to be good. So I guess like as he's like coming down and hitting her, once again, like she's just in like this state of just like she has a focus, and that focus is like living and at whatever cost. I think she's almost gonna want to like think she's gonna faint, like oh I've been hit, and let him have that moment of like but in that moment that he's feeling very like I'm such a I want her to come across with her sword and go to slash him, like, because she's, I guess, do we have like the swords that we have, like she wouldn't have a short sword, or would they have gotten like
you would be wielding a long sword at this point. Okay. So it's there's a big long sword that you can got a lot of reach on this weapon compared to your short blade.
Yeah, and I think I want to like, so she's gonna try and like come at him, like once again like throwing her full body into it as like the last ditch effort of.
Yeah, makes sense. So your fighting is free. Yep. So your fighting is free, but -1 for the wounds. So you roll 2 dice. One of them is a 6 because of your crit, meaning that you roll 1d6.
Okay.
Fuck, that's a good number to roll. All right, so this is triple the combat defense. Your athletics, the damage on a longsword is athletics +1. It's not Castle Forge like Cicero, so it's just +1. Your athletics is 4, +1 is 5. So triple 5 is 15. You basically deal the same blow back to him after his armor is reduced, dealing 5 wounds to him. I have to find this one other stat for you here just to tell you how wounded he is, but that is a nasty blow. That is a nasty wound on boat ride. His confidence is checked as you bring up the blade and think twice about how easy this might be for him. Okay, now we swing back around to Cicero. Cicero, my good friend.
Yes.
Actually, it's not your turn. It's Michael's turn because he goes before you, doesn't he?
Yes.
All right, let's see how much health the knight has. Woo! All right. Pretty good. All right. JJ, what am I doing here? Daddy Warbucks, thanks for the host. The gigantic notifications are all over the screen tonight, and it's perfect. Michael swings into you. You will die here today. -2 of these dice as the lowest ones, so he's left with 12. 17. Okay. And we have to figure out your new combat defense for the purposes of this, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same. Agility plus athletics plus awareness. Agility, athletics, awareness. 7, 11 -6 is 5. All right, so you see his sword coming just too late, Cicero, as the trained swordsman that he is. point of note, this guy is a way better swordsman than you are. This is probably someone who has been trained professionally for a long time and probably has seen combat before, and that he's probably actually killed people before. And he has absolutely no problem in doing this again here today. 15 is the damage that you're looking against, 10 of which is eaten up by the armor. You have 5 remaining left over to deal with, either with wounds again or with injuries.
Yeah, if I take either of those, that's eating up my last endurance point, correct?
You have 2 endurance, which, by the way, we're going to boost that the next time you level up. Next time you get XP, because that keeps you alive so much.
If we level up,
But,
we'll see.
yes, you can't take another wound right now. However, you can take 2 injuries. So you can reduce this number by 2. You're at -2 to all tests. Or, can you survive this? Because I think... How much damage have you taken so far? Oh, you've taken none, so you can survive this. You can take the 5. Which, again, may be the best course of action at this point, just to take the health damage.
Yeah, let's go for that.
Cicero is on 1 hit point as Michael's blade slashes you across the face, sort of from here and runs up to here, just missing the jugular, not deep enough to quite cut into that, but it cuts away a flap of your cheek. And this is a wound which is pretty nasty, pretty fucking gnarly, to be honest. Like, it runs all the way up from your collarbone up to a cheek and cuts away at that, and you see him grin. And it turns over to you, Cicero.
All right.
He is, by the way,
Well.
by the force of your lance, already wounded, so he's not looking in the best state that you've seen anymore.
That's fantastic news. I'm gonna use another crit. Let's
Good.
just do 1 this time. And I'm gonna... Oh boy, I'm gonna swing back at him. So same... Well, 2 dice this time. But same roll.
Yeah, 2d6 rolled, so one of them is a 6 already. Plus these 2d6.
Ugh. And that's
So,
awful.
10 was what you were looking for. 10 was what you rolled, rather.
That is... yeah.
His is 5, so it's still double. And yours does athletics plus 2. Athletics plus 2 for you is 5. Double that to 10. His armor eats it. The armor of 10 on the plate. It's really easy to hit this guy, but for whatever reason, whenever you do get a hit in, it just is turned away by the armor. So you're getting hits in on him. Like, you guys are trading blows, but his blows are cutting through the weak points of your armor. And you feel like you're just hitting a plate over the head, basically, with your sword, and it's just not cutting through the guy. All right. Meanwhile, we cut back to Kaylee. Both Cicero and Kaylee are near to death at this point. 2 of them are visibly bleeding from wounds. Mike Blackwood definitely has the advantage in this fight, while Kaylee is also trading blows fairly well with both. Right, both of them look wounded, but you don't look like you're in the best position right now. What would you like to do?
So Kaylee just hit him. Would he be coming back against her then?
Oh, you're so right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, it is honorable to remind me. Let's see. You rolled a 13. He was looking for... I got to redo the math on yours. Agility, athletics, and awareness for you. Okay. Those are 2s. 8, 11, minus 6 is 5. So he deals double. 10 isn't enough to break through your armor. Dead on the nose. So he comes in again at your face, plunges away off the armor. You get to retaliate. What do you do?
Okay, so I guess as he bounces off, they're pretty close into it.
Right.
All right. I think I kind of want to go for a kill and blow on this man. I kind of want to I've already got him across the chest in this. I think I'm going to use my last 20. And as he's I imagine if, I don't know if I've never hit somebody with a sword, but you hit something hard, it kind of will throw you back a little bit. And so in his like
yeah.
hits, but it kind of bounced in that moment. I think she's also going to take advantage of that again, like she did prior. Going for the throat, man. Trying to hit between his helmet and his. I was tempted to go straight through because he has opened his mask now, but I think
Right.
like really, the chance of that even happening. So yeah, she's gonna attack back and she's going for the head throat area of the killing blow, but using that 20.
All right, use that 20.
So then I threw just one on top of that.
I think so. Yeah, I think you throw one dice away and add and roll one more. It's not quite enough. It's good. It's good, but it's not good enough. It's enough to beat his combat defense, meaning that you do hit him. You have hit him. But this is not going to break through his armor because the degree of success is not high enough to at that point. Unfortunately. Yeah, you're looking for 10, basically. If you can reach 10, then you're good. But not today. All right, so we cut back to Michael and Cicero as the two of them are locked in deadly combat. Already Cicero is bleeding from multiple gaping wounds. Time to finish you. Take away 2 of these. Take away 3 from that. Is 11, which is a hit, which does double. But again, not enough to kill you. Armor turns it away. So I think Cicero, what happens at this point, this is the moment in the fight where you're like locked swords, and there's that power struggle between which way the sword is gonna go. And the two of you are locked in this fight. What do you want to do?
So, essentially what you see happen is as Cicero holds Michael's sword at bay with his right hand, he reaches up with his left, and what you see is him grab Michael's blade, and he begins to twist it away in what should be something that is cutting deep into his hand, but he's not. Nothing seems to be phasing him as the sword is just getting bent out of the way.
So you're gonna take the hand sort of wound, basically, to try and get a chance at him.
Technically, yes.
Technically, yes. Should be cutting into flesh here, but something else happens. Okay. Roll me those dice.
Alright, what should I be rolling?
You trying to hit him with the sword?
Yeah, once he's got a
Once you've got him.
grasp
Once you turn
on his sword, he's gonna essentially try and get the best hit in that he can. He's gonna use what the hell? All 3 crits.
Let's do it. It's the only way to go. So 18 is the final number, right? Because there's no other dice to be rolled here.
Yep.
I would like you, Cicero, to roll me a D8 on the critical hits table.
D8. It's a 4.
You cripple your opponent with a dreadful wound. In addition to the damage dealt, your target gains 1 wound. If your opponent cannot take another wound, he dies.
So where's my? We don't know that.
This wound does not reduce damage. Where's my green? Meaning that in addition, he's taken from the lance, and in addition to this wound, he has no more wounds that he is able to take. Cicero, how do you kill Michael Blackwood?
So what happens is, as he's got his sword hand in the one hand, he brings his sword down on the weak point at the armor at the elbow and butchers his arm until it is dangling from the handle, from the hilt of the sword, as Cicero is still holding it, and it's embedded into his metal hand. And he brings his sword back across Michael's neck and decapitates him to the best of his ability.
And on that moment, as Michael Blackwood's head falls dead on the ground, parted from his body, that is where we end tonight's episode of Game of Thrones, War of the Roses, my friends.
Oh no!
Holy shit!
I'm gonna stay with that for a whole week. Oh, number 2.
Yeah, 2, yeah, oh my god.
I'm too invested in the
Ooh,
story. These
man.
gaps are killing me.
Yeah. Holy shit. Well, my friends, that is all we have time for tonight. The trial by 7 is perhaps over, but we're going to have to wait to see what the outcome of the brawl was, because we have yet to see the fates of the rest of our 7 knights, whether allies or enemies have fallen dead this melee as well. And indeed, what will happen? Will this be honored? We'll have to wait and see. We are not back on next week because a bunch of us are traveling away. We're at TwitchCon, we're at various different events. We're busy, so we're back in 2 weeks' time to pick this one up for Game of Thrones. We do very much apologize for that, but we just want the full cast and crew back together for another full episode. As man, it's just better when you're together. But if you enjoyed tonight's show, let us know. If you haven't followed the stream, hit the follow button and join us. If you haven't caught up on the rest of the episodes on YouTube, go back and watch them. They are very fun, and they've been leading up to the very tense moments that have been going into today's fights. But let's go around the cast and crew. One last thing as well. Let me give away a set of tabletop loot dice here in the chat. Let's go around the cast and crew. Did we enjoy ourselves? And where can we find you guys online? Let's start with Joseph. How was that, my friend?
Oh god, so stressful and yet so satisfying. I've been sitting here sweating for like the entirety of this battle, of this trial by 7. So yeah, but yeah, we had some secrets to be revealed. So that was a very fun session, and holy cow, that was a lot. I'm still recovering. So, anyways, you can find me on Twitter at Joseph is not fast, and I hope everyone enjoyed.
Absolutely, I certainly did. From this side of the screen, it was excellent fun. One of my favorite things about this game is how just fucking deadly the combat is. So it feels a lot different from D&D 5th, where it's like, oh shit, this wound's gonna kill me. Yeah, oh fuck. But I do have good news for you guys, actually. Before I forget, that you will all be receiving XP, which means that you get to do some level ups. There isn't really levels in this game. You're technically always level 1, but you get experience to increase ability scores and skills that you have. I strongly suggest to Cicero that he takes endurance ranks because holy hell, does that shit keep you alive. But we'll get into the details of that. I'll send that to everyone in the group chat because the whole team will be getting the XP. Thanks so much, Joseph. Birds, how was that, my dude?
Dude, this game had like this really compelling, interesting slow build, and holy shit, did it go off like a powder keg this episode. This was incredible. This rules, man. Oh, this is so much fun. 2 weeks cannot go by quick enough. I need to know more of this. And we have a war coming, y'all. Like, we survived a combat.
That's one combat.
It's only getting worse. Shoot, what are we doing? Outros and stuff? I'm Bird vs. Plane. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at that name, and all my stuff is there. Oh god, this ruled. Move on.
Amazing.
Man.
Whew. Kitty, how was that?
So much story happened tonight. Like, there's nothing more satisfying in roleplay to me, whether it's this or in games or anything, when you just have like a session with so much story. Like, it just leaves you wanting for more, especially when like I don't know, it's just really satisfying because, you know, you start off like a session or a story or whatever, and everybody's a little bit awkward, and we're kind of like, oh, like, can I do this? I'm going to say this. I'm going to talk over him. And like, I feel like we're really like, I know we're missing a couple. I feel like we're all really falling into a really nice pace. And like, holy heck, like, I don't want to wait. Like, I want to go and make art now. Like, I'm very inspired at the moment to go make things. Totally should be working instead, but I don't know. I'm just in love with this whole story. It was great. I'm glad Kelly didn't die yet, though. Jeez. It was great, though. I love the awkwardness of the kiss, because I was reading chat the whole time and just laughing and trying to not, like, but it's such a habit, like, as a streamer, to not just look over and want to read.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the hardest bit.
The shippers finally got what they wanted. I hope you're satisfied, chat. I was thoroughly awkward, embarrassed. But no, I'm excited. Like I said, I'm I'm gone for the next week to TwitchCon, but you can find me. I'll be all over Twitter. Maybe some IRL con streams. Who knows? But Awkward Kitty Inc. I'm a freelance artist and a creative roleplay streamer here on Twitch. Check me out. My commissions are open. You know.
Definitely. Oh, holy moly! This was fun. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens to these guys next, because I have no idea what they're gonna do next. None of this Trial by 7 shit was planned, but it's just been awesome and fun. And what I'm really excited to do is to figure out how the fight went with the other NPCs as well. So I'm going to be the nerdiest thing ever. I'm going to be playing D&D by myself and figuring out their attack rolls and all of what happened in between now and 2 weeks' time. So I'm going to be doing the saddest thing ever and rolling dice in my own time. But yeah, we'll figure out who lives and who dies for the rest of the night as well. Super glad that you guys are enjoying this one, and I certainly am too. To pick a winner for the dice, that is Wild Engineer. Congratulations, Wild. I appreciate it, my dude. And congrats. I'll get that out to you very shortly. Oh, and before I forget, tomorrow we are live with Vampire the Masquerade at a time of 5 p.m. Eastern. So I will see you guys then. But until next time, try not to throw too many net ones, because we want to be here laughing when you do. Good night, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
In 2 weeks' time.